Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Benji, David Whitehead, Mike Crossland, Hankster, what's up, Billy? Jay Chapman, Stephen G, what's up, Stephen G? Timothy, hey, there he is. There's old Timothy Green, our guy. What's up, my man? Yeah, good to see him. We're a little worried about it. He popped in the other day just for a few seconds, but I'm glad he's still around. We're still seeing it. Yep. Chapman, not. Oh, well, we'll probably end up talking that. I'm interviewing for the OC job right now. I know. You some bitches are too crazy. I'm not doing it. I don't want the job. I do not want the job. And I love RPOs. Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, the RPO pisses me off too. So Billy. Jackson, for whatever reason, has a turn. Jackson has a confidence problem. That, yeah, it manifests itself with turnovers, apparently. Mike Crossland, what's up, my guy? How are we doing? Mr. Whitehead, how are we doing today, sir? Garrett Bullware, our guy, fight on natties. Well, looky there. And did you really just call him at Coach Rudy? Dang. Comanche Sooner, what's up, my guy? Good to see you guys, along with the entirety of the Hall of Fame Mafia. Thanks for hopping into the show tonight. Coach, wild weekend, wild trip to Norman. It was fun in the stadium. I mean, listen, it's probably the loudest it's been in a while that I could tell. And according to what like Holly Rose said on the broadcast, that it was the loudest they had tested with their meter in 2 years. In fact, it even beat out Death Valley last year at 115 decibels. They got 117 in Norman.
Wow.
It was to no avail, obviously, but I think that the folks showed out, tried to give their support. And even though it wasn't going well on offense, it manifested itself in Jackson Arnold being pulled out of the game. That being said, maybe that turns into a positive for Oklahoma, because although there's some issues we believe possibly at the coordinator position, the offensive coach's position, there's certainly, I don't know, man. There's some stuff that's going on that even like Gabe Eichert, who's a offensive lineman and big fan of Bill Bedenbaugh, but there's a lot of stuff being said right now as far as concern over what's being called and where. I think the overall game plan is kind of, and I wanted to ask you about this real quick, but to me, and this is something that Gabe had said on Gabe and Teddy yesterday, or maybe it was Sunday, I don't know. But either way, talking about, that the best part of this team that you're going up against is in the middle of the defensive line. They're nasty right there. Their defensive line, and you really only went off tackle twice. 2 jet sweeps. They both gained 9 to 10 yards, and you never go back to it. And you're running at the teeth of this defense with an offensive line that, even if this is the best offensive line that you're going to put together, and I don't know that it is, but let's just say it is, you're going up against one of the best D-lines in the country. Why the hell would that be your game plan? It's tough. On top of that, you've got a quarterback that obviously ran into some, I believe it's confidence more than anything else. The guy has a lot of skill. We know he can throw the football. We know that, you watched a guy walk out the door in Dylan Gabriel that's still looking pretty good there at Oregon. But I don't know that there was a possibility of him really coming back. Once Jeff Levy took that job, I don't really think he was going anywhere. Everybody wants to make that into a narrative, but I'm not really ready to go there. That I would say this, though. I don't know how really hard they tried to keep Dylan. So in the end, you end up with a new quarterback. Now, the good news is that Michael Hawkins looked very, very good. He looked unflappable. He got chased around a lot. In fact, they actually sent more blitzes at him than they did Jackson Arnold. But there's still going to be growing pains, just like we talked about, I think. And I don't know that Oklahoma fans are ready for it. You got a smirk on your face. Please go talk. Ass. I already know where this is going.
I'm just going to tell you guys. First of all you motherfuckers that think you're coaches, I'm sick of that shit. And I'm not sick of that shit only with OU. It's Notre Dame and every other damn football team in the country. All you some bitches that are plumbers and lawyers and maintenance men and oil men, and I don't give a shit. You know what, guys? You do your fucking job and let the coaches do their job. You have no idea what is going on in those team locker rooms, on those practice fields. We have no idea, including me, because now I'm a fan. But you know what? You all seem to know what the hell the answers are. Oklahoma, y'all were bitching about your quarterback last year. Motherfucker's gone. Now you were saying, boy, this guy behind him is going to be, he's going to be the man. Here we are a year later, and now he's not the fucking man. Get the hell out of the way. We got a better one. When does the shit stop? And you know what? I know I'm going to piss a lot of y'all off by saying it. But you know what? Again, I don't give a shit because somebody needs to say it. You know what? It's easy to sit in the damn bleachers. It's easy to sit your ass in your recliner and talk shit. Put your ass on the sidelines. Put your ass on the practice field. You don't even know the damn dynamics of the team themselves and the players themselves. And like I said earlier, we have the same shit going on at Notre Dame, and I'm friggin' sick and tired of it. End of the rant.
You sure?
And you know what? If you want to go be the OC, apply for the motherfucking job. Go be the OC. Quit being the fucking plumber and go be the OC. And you know what? You're going to catch just as much shit as you did when you were a plumber.
More shit. Woo. Are you sure you're done? Did you get it out?
For now.
Well, welcome into the show, everybody. Jay, I'm glad you caught that. If you'd like to hop on, I'd be happy to send you a link. We can talk a little bit more about this. Look, I agree. We talked about this last year at the end of the season when we were getting to talking about what was going to happen with Dillon Gabriel. Now, I would tell you that I don't think Dillon was coming back either way. I don't think it was happening. Once Jeff got that job, that was it. But it was the same thing that we heard all of last year. And I think that any Sooner fan right now would take the offense that you had a year ago gladly and insert it right today. All of them. Every one of them. Don't matter who it is. Particularly the O-line they love. Anyway, the point being, we bitched and complained into it's always the backup quarterback that's the best guy. And everybody wanted Jackson Arnold to get his shot. Now, somewhere in between the bowl game and now Jackson I think he allowed the talk that was going on about him not being ready and him being a pick machine and that kind of stuff, because he didn't have he had a good game in the bowl game, but it wasn't a great game. He had some turnovers, but he wasn't afraid to make throws, and he was working within the confines of the offense. Now, I'm not going to get into all this stuff on whether or not there was a demand about the RPO being in the – I don't give a shit about that right now, and none of that shit matters. We can sit here and talk about that all fucking day, and it still won't matter. First and foremost, he's gone. And I've told you guys over and over that I believe – I know that everybody wants it. Well, now everybody wants to be soft about it and be soft-hearted about it, that he failed and we didn't give him a good chance to do that. to succeed. Maybe that's the case. Now we know that he was not ready for the pressure that comes with being the Oklahoma quarterback because he did not handle it well on Saturday night. Look, you guys know very good and well, and Coach, you know very good and well that I've been his biggest supporter coming into this season. I've been saying, hey, you're going to have to let him go through this stuff. You're going to have to let him go through this stuff. And nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. Billy, what were you talking about? I can't stand the heat. What heat? Are you giving me heat? I don't know what you're talking about, but I can stand the heat. I don't give a shit either. Just so we understand. I don't give a shit either. You guys got to understand that this is what it is. The only thing you can do now is move forward and hope that they get it together. Hope that you have some continuity on that offensive line. Hope that Michael Hawkins, because of his skill set, and hope that he continues to make good decisions because he did make very good decisions.
So Jay
Chapman is one of the don't leave
Jay. What's your formula, dude? What's your formula? You know the answers. Give us the answers.
Mm-hmm. Let him give us the answers.
Those are the dumbass statements. Those are the dumbass statements.
And he's been one of the worst ones. He's been ripping people up and down and calling for heads since week 1.
Well, you know what? Go get a damn job. Get the hell out of Dodge. I don't give a shit.
Oh yes, no, I can't handle it. No, I don't want that heat. I would never apply for this job though. And look, guys, we're all analysts. We're all analyzing it as fans every week, and I get it. And we all think we know everything that's going on. I would tell you, as far as what we see that's going on here and what we talk about on these shows, Jay included. Talk about the hardest working guy in Oklahoma. You know, this is a dude that he's on with Locked On every morning. He's on doing multiple shows of his own every day. Jay's doing a great job. Yeah, he wants to be the corner coach. Yeah, that's an easier gig, right? That's an easier gig. I don't blame you. I'll take that one. But this idea, okay, now we're already back on this whole deal with Bill Bedenbaugh. You got half the freaking fan base wants to fire Bill Bedenbaugh. When finally he's recruited his 5-star that everybody's been bitching about that he hadn't gotten yet, and then another guy that's probably going to be a 5-star in Ryan Foji. But yeah, let's just go ahead and kick him out of there and watch them walk out the door with them. That's going to help, right? It's pretty funny stuff. In any event, here's the deal. I understand what they're talking about with Seth Luttrell and Joe John Finley. I don't know what's happening there. I think that it's pretty clear from what you're hearing from Brent Venables, his opinion matters, right? What we're hearing from BV is that it sounds like they're on a 8-game job review. They're either going to keep their job or they're out the door. I would believe that it was something. I believe that that's the case. And look, we can say whatever we want about who the choice was and all that kind of stuff. Nobody was bitching and complaining when he got the job. And this idea that he was a fullback, so he can't be a quarterback coach. What the fuck is that one about? Because look, guys, there's not every guy that's a quarterback coach has been a quarterback. Right? Not every guy. It's not always that. In fact, our last offensive coordinator who had Oklahoma in the top 5 in the country in every statistical category was a damn offensive lineman. I don't love that narrative, guys. I don't love that narrative. This guy has been an offensive coordinator in multiple places. Now, I do believe that he tried to marry a system, the veer and shoot, which is Lebby's, with the Leach air raid, which is different. It may look similar. It is not the same. It's not the same. You're trying to marry that, you could have some issues. I don't know what part Jackson Arnold and his father had in all of that. I don't really care. I think that that's what has been going on. But at some point along the way, Jackson started hearing the chirps that go on from behind the scenes and on social media. He talked a little bit about social media more than I thought that he should have. I get the idea that he was saying he doesn't look at it, but he looks at it. And this is a bad thing for athletes. Don't look at that shit. Don't look at it. It's hard to not do. I think it's hard for adults to not do it. But that's the deal. Jay, don't come in here starting up your shit with Coach Roybal. I will kick your ass out of here. I've had about enough of you myself.
I tell you what the answer is, and you must be hard to fucking hearing, Jay. Let the coaches do their damn job. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If at the end of the season they don't get it done, fire their ass.
Yep.
At the end of the season, not in the middle of the damn season.
Yep.
I don't. If I was there every day, then I could probably give you some answers.
And you can't.
But I'm not there every day.
In the middle of the damn season, you're just punting on the year. Then, who are you going to bring in to be the coordinator? Who are you going to be? Who's going to coach the other positions? What they're talking about getting rid of everybody except, and get this, except for DeMarco and Emmett Jones. That was one of the tweets I saw earlier. Just get rid of all of them except for DeMarco and Emmett. Don't stop at DeMarco, folks. Do not stop at DeMarco if we're going to do all that. Oh, God, get me started. Yeah. Isn't that weird, Rob? That's what I'm talking about. Look, guys, this just kind of goes to show you. Yeah, this is a good point, too. Kimberly K., welcome into the show.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't look at social media, his girlfriend, friends, family, etc., yeah, no doubt. No doubt. They don't have the same offensive analysts that they used to have, Purple, and they're not going to fire these guys right in this second. It's going to have to get worse. I got to tell you. It's going to have to get worse for that to happen. And the hope is that it doesn't get worse because, look.
Guys, it's one damn loss against a great football team. One loss against a great football team.
Absolutely.
Damn, come on.
Absolutely. I agree.
You think you got it bad? Shit, we got beat by NIU.
There's that. I hate it for JA. Oklahoma fans are spoiled about the quarterback position, offensive play. There's still a lot of ball to be played. If nothing changes at the end of the year, it needs to be an overall. Yeah, but and here's the thing. Who do you think that either the players or Coach Venables or anybody doesn't know that, though? Do you think that they don't want that as much as any of you guys think that you want it? Any of us?
Yeah, they all go out there, Jason. The coaches go out and the players go out. Let's get our ass beat today. Let's not do what we're supposed to do. That's what I want today. Jesus Christ. All the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it by the players and the coaches. You know, hell, you don't even know how many hours those coaches put in, you know, every week in the season. It is incredible. And the players, the time and effort to think they're going to go in there and just try to get their ass beat.
Well, they're 3-1. Get it right. No, but you're right. You're right. Fight on. Look, it's the same thing that's wrong with the USC fan base. You don't think we watch those guys? I was hoping USCJ was coming on. I haven't heard anything back from him. But, I mean, you don't think that I watch those guys too? Whenever they're on there and you guys are throwing shit fits in their comment section? Because I see it. It happens everywhere. There's not a fan base alive that isn't crazy. Fan is short for fanatic. It is. And in the end, we're all a little wild. David Chamberlain, welcome in. Mr. Dilligaff, there you go.
And you know what, Jason? Here's the thing. We're all fans. We all second guess and do this and do that. But there's a line in there.
Sure.
I mean, when you start calling for the coach's job, this coach and that coach, and some of the coaches that people are talking about, and I'm not just talking OU, I'm just talking across college football today. You know, some of the best coaches in the country, some of the coaches that have been successful for many years, and people want to chop their heads off. What, do you think they got stupid all of a sudden this year? Or last year or whenever they, you know, that's the piece that just wears me out. And you know, when you start seeing the same thing over and over and over, I mean, we're going through the shit with our quarterback, Riley. You know, oh hell, he can't throw the ball down the field. He can't. Well, you know what? The last time I checked, guys, the son of a bitch is running for touchdown after touchdown. You know what? We're in an era too where everybody thinks that you got to throw the ball to win ball games. Well, guess what? If you run a touchdown in, it's as many damn points as a pass is. You know, but we start attacking at Notre Dame this last game. The fans are booing Riley in the first quarter. I mean, come on, shit. I'm just sickened by all this.
Well, I said this earlier, or it may have been yesterday or whatever, but it's when they put Hawkins in, you know, he ran out of bounds on a third and long, third and medium, third and long, and he ran out before he got, and it kind of looked like he might have been able to get the yard to gain or whatever, right. Or in there could have been somebody that popped up opener there or whatever. I think there was a guy on the backside that he could have thrown across his body and tried it. But he didn't. He went out of bounds. He lived to fight another day. And I heard people all around me going, oh, well, that's a whole lot better than what we've been seeing out of Jackson Arnold. And I was like, that was fucking better. He didn't put the ball in jeopardy. And again, in Oklahoma territory, to give them, it was like under a minute left, punt the ball away, live to fight another day, get to fucking halftime, and let's figure this out. And he played great. And this that's on the screen here from David Chamberlain made a comment yesterday. People saying that the Tennessee defensive starters weren't in against Hawkins. Bullshit. Gabe pointed out that they were. It was great. Yes, Gabe pointed out a few things. Now, what I would tell you is yes, we've seen what Josh Heupel said to Nico about not putting the ball in the air much in the second half. He wanted to get out of there because as he said, what the defense was doing. Okay. The defense gave up touchdowns to Michael Hawkins, and they actually brought pressure on a higher percentage of plays in the second half against Michael Hawkins than they had against Jackson Arnold by like 12% higher. So to say that they backed off and that they could have blown you out of the water, they could have, should have, would have. If they didn't, number one, I don't give a shit what you guys are talking about. They lost by 10, not by 50, like everybody from Tennessee was saying. And if you want to call that letting off the gas, so be it. And in fact, if he was letting off the gas offensively to not put Nico in harm's way, that's not a stupid thing.
That's part of the game.
It's actually a smart thing for him on that side of it. If we're making it like, you know, that you guys were moving the ball anyway, we know better because you weren't. You got away with two big plays, one big play, which was the touchdown, and then you got another touchdown down there towards the end of the half. Both of them came after turnovers. Both of them came after turnovers. The interception, which was absolutely retarded. Sorry, not retarded. Ridiculous. No reason that should have been thrown. And listen, and then the other one, look, you can't fumble the ball there either down inside the 5. I'll give you that part, but at least that part wasn't a terrible mental mistake there. He just got the ball stripped. He actually landed on Bauer sharp. Otherwise, he's down before the ball comes out. Not a whole lot you can do about that, but it's a critical turnover in a critical place when actually. And that one, I'm blaming on the OC because as we found out, the call was a fake pitch. And if you go back and look at the play, he walks in. Javonte Barnes walks in if he actually pitches the ball instead of faking the pitch. He did the play like he was supposed to. It's a turnover. And then you had, of course, the backwards pass on the lateral, which should never have happened. That was never something in the play that was even really something that was an option, according to Venables. And you hand it off every day. I've got a picture on the phone of a number of things in the RPO. Apparently, he's struggling to see or count, you know, because it's a numbers game on the RPO, and you read it before you ever go into the play. They either have too many in the area inside the tackle box, or you don't run it, or you do. But it's pre-snap is the read, guys. I don't think he got one of them right. What I'm getting at is it's pretty clear to me that Jackson Arnold has a confidence issue. He is now needs to have a seat, and let's see what the freshman can do. And I don't know that he ever gets the job back at Oklahoma. It doesn't mean he's dead in the water forever as a quarterback. The guy was a 5-star for a reason. He'll find somewhere to turn up, I'm sure, and should. It is what it is. There was there were chances to win. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong. But here's the point. The beauty of the whole thing, no matter what we want to talk about, the loss sucks. Nobody likes losses. Shit, least of all me. I spent a lot of money to go down there and watch that. I had a blast in the stands, enjoyed the whole time. I love being in Norman. Guys, I'm just going to say, though, the beauty is that you found out what you have something in this young kid. I told you guys a year ago that if he ever got in, you may never be able to take him back out, aside from an injury, because he is talented. We're talking about a guy who had, as I said, 55 total touchdowns as a senior in Texas last year. Very underrated. He only had 3 turnovers. His dad played in the NFL. His brother's coming to play for the Oklahoma Sooners next year. This is a stud. This is a stud. He's going to be very good here. And the one thing that I saw out of him was poise. He had, in fact, as we said, he had more pressure than Jackson Arnold got in the second half. And he put his body on the line. Guys, Sam Bradford 2.0 on that flip into the end zone that they should have given him the touchdown for. I don't know how we can see it on television clearly that the ball crossed the plane, but they don't get it right on that one. Puts his body on the line before that in the first touchdown. Of course, he gets a touchdown pass out of that one. Drops his shoulder up against a linebacker and a safety. Don't want to see a whole lot of that. But we saw him make throws across the middle that Jackson wasn't even trying to make at this point. He's got some swag. He's got some ability. Let's roll. Do they make some changes to the offensive, what they're going to do? I would hope so. I know that you don't really have to run the RPO with him because they didn't do a lot of RPO where he was at. He wasn't in that offense with Jeff Lebby. He doesn't have to learn it. Although I'm sure he's learned it. I don't know that if he is comfortable in what they're running, and we didn't see a lot of RPO in the second half, fine. Do whatever. But you've got a game this weekend. And this is a game on the road. I know a lot of people think we should just walk in there and just, because we show up, we ought to beat Auburn. We better win. But they're not just, you think they're going to be real hospitable to Oklahoma? Nope. They got losing problems of their own. And they're a lot worse than what Oklahoma's has. Matt, what's up, bro? I don't see why people... Is OU in trouble with the true freshman starting against Auburn? No. That true freshman looked a lot more poised than that second-year guy. And look, I would just say this. This is, I can tell you right now that I am absolutely glad that nobody gave a shit what I thought about Casey. About Casey getting a scholarship at the start of the year. Because... that's the beauty of this right now, is that you've got a guy that has a lot of experience. This is year 7 in college football for him. If you need him to come in there and settle it down, or for whatever reason, you can get him to come in. There's not a whole lot of situations that Casey Thompson hasn't seen. He played at Nebraska. He played at Texas. He's played in some big games, right? He's played in some big games. So he shouldn't get too rattled about anything. Am I worried about Auburn in particular, no, I think they got a real quarterback problem too. They didn't have a good one starting, and the guy they brought in, I don't know anybody thinks much of him. That being said, if anybody can dial up a one-game masterpiece, it might be Hugh Freeze, guys. Our defense is going to have to continue to play like it played. I hope that they're up to the task to continue doing what they're doing. You heard, I've watched that broadcast enough now to hear Herbie talking about how they were going to break, and they never broke the other night. Coach, let's talk about that a second. I'm done with the quarterback conversation for right now. Tell me what you're seeing out of this Oklahoma defense, though.
I'm seeing what we thought we were going to see. I'm seeing as good a defense as there is out there in the country. They're definitely a top defense.
Elite.
I know it was
elite, Coach.
I did not say elite. I rarely use the term elite.
Yeah.
But I will say that it's not what OU has seen over the past several years. And it to me, I still believe, and I've said this before, I think it's going to be one of the top defenses in the country at the end of the year. I know Tennessee's got a ball club. They really do.
Man. Really good
football. I was very impressed with them. Yeah. And that's I wanted to gauge this game. This game was a gauge for me on
because they hadn't really played
guys.
Anybody very good, right? You know, neither team had played a world beater for that matter.
No, I thought I thought there was a great gauge for both of you, and they obviously came out on top. But you know, guys, you go back and you take a football game and you dissect it on film, and you know, you can even go back to like a 21-point loss in the ball game because I've seen it over and over. There's a handful of plays that if they flipped and went the other way, the W goes on the other team. And I think there were some of these things that happened in y'all's ball game that if you flip what happened on that one play, you know, there's a chance OU wins the ball game. So I think y'all are still right there in the hunt. The defense was impressive, and they're going to continue to be impressive. Y'all, in between the tackles, y'all are filthy strong. You got some great linebackers. Have a good, strong secondary. I mean, I just keep looking at the overall defense.
Right? Yeah, there's not a ton of weaknesses anywhere.
I don't see a ton of weaknesses. And again, guys, defense is going to win you a lot of ball games. It really is. And, you know, I hate to hear the panic in some of my buddies that are Sooner fans because there's no time to panic right now. Y'all are just fine, and things are going to be fine. And talking about taking your team into Auburn, you know, that's always you know, it can be a tough place to play. And like you said, if anybody can dial up a number to win that ball game, Hugh can do it. But I see you guys going in and winning this one handily. And again, I'll go back to the defense. If it's a close ball game, it's because of the quarterback y'all have now fallen in love with.
Well, okay. All right. Well, and look, you have to expect him to kind of go through some growing pains. Guys, he's a freshman, a true freshman. And
absolutely.
It's not going to all be sunshine and rainbows with a true freshman, anything, much less a quarterback, right? I would tell you that I agree with you as far as the defense is concerned, is that they're going to keep you in every ball game. You're going to have an opportunity to win. Now, the problem is, my problem and worry, my concern is it's not him. And the reason it's really not him so much is because we saw him make sound decisions. sound decisions at the right times, right? He was under pressure a ton. He didn't throw into traffic. He didn't do stupid stuff like, that was going to put the ball in jeopardy or anything like that. And he made plays at the same time, kind of being a little bit fearless. It's also a different situation to being the starter to come into a game that's out of hand at the moment, right? And I say out of hand, you were down a couple of scores, really 3 scores at the point, right? But I do think that there's an upside there. And if you can do the things that it looks like he can do with his arm and with his feet, because he's a sub 4.4 runner, he's a guy that can do very well, right? Bishop Frank, welcome into the show. Good to see you, my man. Dilla you as well. Yeah, listen, I do believe that you've got a good opportunity here, and you need to go in here and win this damn football game if you're Oklahoma, period. This is time for you to step it up and get a win. This is not Tennessee. And I would tell you that I think that Tennessee is absolutely one of the better teams in the SEC. Am I putting them above Georgia and Alabama? Not until I see them win one of those games. But I think they got a good team. I love that defense. I like that offense. That offense didn't do much against Oklahoma. You had a couple of big plays, and truth be told, the touchdown pass was on Billy, one of our better players in the secondary. He had his eyes in the wrong place, got his hand stuck in the cookie jar. You let those guys get behind you, gone. That's how it is. But overall, great job. They didn't let them beat them on the outside with their little screen game that they like to play. They did not get beat by the running game. 2.9 yards per. That was actually, it brought their average up a little bit. They're averaging 2.3 now yards per carry. It's pretty good, man. 14 points a game. In 4 games time, that's not terrible. It's not terrible. But they're going to have to continue to get better, and they're going to have to continue to carry the load while this offense finds itself, because they definitely have to find themselves. The question at hand that I saw a minute ago, would I go with the veer and shoot or the air raid? I think whatever. Here's the thing: the veer and shoot is what the offense has been for the last 2 years. Now, that being said, the wide receivers that are in right now, because you got a lot of injuries, haven't been in it a ton necessarily, and we know Michael Hawkins has it, but that's the playbook they've been working from. The RPO stuff, yeah, guys, I get it. There's some things that I'd like to see, and it sounds like Venables and them are trying to clean that up and make it a little easier so that they don't have to. It ain't that hard of a fucking read, first of all. It's a numbers game. Count to 6. If there's over 6, you're not running the ball. It's now a pass play. This is a pre-snap read. It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard, which is why it's kind of alarming at what was going on with Jackson. It tells you he was way in his head. He was way in his head. It sucks for him. It sucks for him. It does. But you know what? Sometimes you need a little reset, man. Get on the bench for a second. Get a little reset. We're gonna bring in old John from Bama Talk. Jonathan Lewis, what's up, my guy?
Oh, my background's not set up. I forgot to uninstall it. Hang on, let me add in my background real quick.
Green screen. I'll pop you out for a second. It's a real green screen right there.
Green screen.
Yeah. Look, I think that these guys are in a situation, and you know what? Here's the thing: you have to have some guys step up. Some guys that are young, some guys that are second-year players, whatever. That's not necessarily a terrible thing. It's no matter what, they're going to get you. That's going to put you in a position where they're going to have an opportunity. You've got Jacoby Johnson moving over from the defense. He hasn't been an all-the-time player at corner. He's a stud for an athlete, great basketball player, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. He was a big dunker in high school. I think he's a guy that could probably help you there. I would really like to see, though, Ivan Carry-On. because we're talking about a 6'6" body that if you can get him going, it would be good. I like Jacoby. Jacoby hasn't been a receiver though, guys. So what? We're gonna expect him to come in and just save the day. I love Jacoby Johnson. Keep your expectations down a little bit. Don't expect this guy to come in here and carry the load for these dudes.
If he doesn't, we'll move to the next one if he doesn't.
Well, no. There's a lot of guys in the room. I would tell you that don't expect a ton from him right away. Maybe he is perfect for it. I'm not sure. Still no? Okay. He still didn't hear me, I guess.
He's still
green. It's not Neckbeard, it's Peach Fuzz John.
Now he's ready.
I see it.
Now we're good.
What's up there, old Neckbeard?
Man, I've had to rearrange everything, so it's like I had to unset everything. Anyways, yeah, it's been an interesting day talking football. Actually, it's been an interesting couple of days talking football.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's been a lot of fun for me. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I came on your show. We both picked Oklahoma to win the game. I've been getting eaten alive for it since then.
Oh yeah, me too.
I think they could have won the game. They didn't win the game. Got a new quarterback now.
Well, the good news I'll say is if you're an Oklahoma fan, all your worst nightmares came true in one game. So you kind of know what to expect now moving forward. Like we knew, right? We kind of figured the O-line wasn't that great. I think the biggest thing in this game, we knew you were injured at wide receiver. We knew the defense was elite. Those we already knew. The biggest question of Oklahoma's entire season was, is Jackson Arnold that guy? And I think I'm not the type of person that gives up on people so quick. I think with the situation at offensive line, I think you almost have to veer away from him because of Michael Hawkins' ability to escape the pocket better than him. But I'm not going to give up on Jackson Arnold just yet. The guy wasn't Gatorade Player of the Year for no reason. They don't all pan out, but the guy has ability. Like we know that. You have to give the guy time. 4 games total is what he's played, right? Including the bowl game. So 3 this year, then the 1 last year. And when you look at this, guys, like I think there's a lot of overreaction when it comes to Jackson Arnold. The guy was tossed into a terrible situation. Look, don't even get me started on the play calling. Don't get me started on that. I'm with you
on this, but let me just stop you though for a second. The interception was egregious. There's no way you make that throw, and he made it confidently.
Yeah,
he made it confidently into triple coverage. There was a wide open guy over the middle. The backwards pass, that's not even an option in that play.
Yeah, and that's what was
going on in confidence wise in his head that makes me think that he's making the wrong decision all the time. It was he had to take a seat, man. He had to take a seat.
There's no doubt he had to sit down this game. There is no doubt about that. The lights are too bright right now. I think that's what it comes down to. The interception where he threw it in triple coverage. Look, the corner showed press. He showed man, right? Then he came off, and then he dropped back into deep zone coverage, right? So that was a disguised play. You know what I mean? Jackson Arnold did the one read he did when he walked up to the line, looked at the defense, and they swapped it on him.
And never looked back. Right.
And never looked back.
Right.
And unfortunately now the one where he threw it and it was a backwards pass, that's just like you said, you have no confidence in your arm. You have no confidence in what you're doing. I don't even understand how that happens because it wasn't like it was near.
That was the thing. It wasn't even a good throw. It was wild, man. Just wild. So, and to me, that just proved, and I said at the time, because I had one of the folks in here that shot me a text. That's one of the few texts I was actually getting. I couldn't get out of the service at these games is crazy, but
yeah,
I turned the phone on at that moment and I got that text and it was, you're not blaming this on Jackson. Bro, he's got to sit down. He needed to sit down and he had to sit down right now because, look, I've been the guy that's been saying back off of Jackson, back off of him. We've been on his ass from game 1 and he's new at this too. And guess what? Michael Hawkins is going to have some. He's going to have some growing pains going along as well.
Oh yeah,
offensive line that is not still overly healthy and ready to go. One thing we do see in Michael Hawkins is some poise.
Yeah,
and you're also seeing that he's a great athlete, a lot of speed. He's doing some good things. But let's not get it twisted and think that it's the same to be the starter as it is to come in a bad situation where nobody's expecting much out of you. Because it's not the same thing.
And the most disappointing thing, and this may sound really petty, the most disappointing thing out of Jackson Arnold for me is when you watch his high school film, you saw the ball fly out of his hands. It looked like something being shot out of a cannon. In that game, he looked like, someone in the comment section said, he looked scared to throw the ball. It's almost like he had no idea what he was looking into or what he was doing. And it was like, after that first 2 to 3 drives, I was like, I was sitting on my couch and I was going, oh God, Oklahoma's in trouble. Like they're in big trouble. Like when it comes down to this, thank God the defense is playing lights out
on row 11 thinking, what the fuck is going on here? You know, and the thing is that they blew that play dead in that first drive. I mean, that's a touchdown. They blow it dead, and that's stupid. That's stupid. But had he hit that and that's a touchdown, maybe it might have turned things around for him completely. The things that you pivot on are surprisingly small. The littlest things could change everything for a player, particularly a young guy like this. You hit that one, the game could have completely changed. People talked about it in here. You get that turnover inside the 5-yard line. If he actually pitches that, now that's not Jackson's fault. You can't fumble that ball there, but they ran him right into the best part of this defense. You just said the play calling.
Bro.
We're running into the meat of that damn defensive line on every run play, and a quarterback power run. Why?
Dude,
but if you pitch it instead of fake pitch, it was a fake pitch was the call. That guy walks in. That's a touchdown too. Another way that it turns right at that moment. Either of those 2 turnovers, whether it be the backwards pass or the one down by the goal line, if they score just field goals there, the game's a different game.
Dude, this made no sense to me. Tennessee did not disguise their blitzes. They walked their 2 middle backers to the damn front of the line.
Missed it
every time they blitzed. And they begged Oklahoma to call out of that play. Because they ran out the middle like 4 or 5 times with 2 middle linebackers standing in between the damn defensive tackles the defensive tackles and the edge guys. Twice. It's 2 or 3 times. I can't remember off the top of my head. But man, I was like, okay, you're clearly not going to run in the middle of this, right? Like they've already shown they're going to continue to do this. And they just kept running into it. And they're like, oh, that defensive line, it's just a wall. I'm like, no, you're just not adjusting to anything. That's pretty damn obvious. And Alabama did the same thing against South Florida.
Guys, just one time. I mean, the jet sweep was working. I mean, we all hate the jet sweep because of Jeff Levy, but the fucker was working.
Yeah,
you can look at Coach getting a kick out of that one because he knows that's my favorite play.
Man, like, the Burks was getting to the edge. You were getting to the edge. The weakness on that. Look, it's a really good defense. Tennessee, don't get it twisted, they have a good defense. But the weakness is on the edge, right? If you're going to run the ball, you have to get to the edge.
Well,
after a couple of jet sweeps, which they were successful in, like you said, they just stopped. And I commend Oklahoma's defense. There was 2 times where the defense, Stutzman missed tackles, and I was like, one of them led to a touchdown. I was like, damn, bro. But you know what I mean? But the guy was on the field most of the night. Like, you can't blame these guys either. Like, the dam's going to break eventually.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but and that's again, to get back to the positive side of things. This is an offense that's led the country in rushing for the last couple of years. Shut it down. They shut it down to under 200 yards, or actually under 150, and they had Nico under 200 yards total. And honestly, they did their job. They put them in a position where they can win. This is where, if you get a little better on offense, you find some kind of confidence and, a game plan that's workable, particularly going in. I mean, look, this is a game you should win against Auburn. I know that the point spread is only a couple of points. It's because you didn't look good offensively, but if you can find some semblance of it, you know that offense is not very good either.
Peyton Thorne, and
Peyton Thorne.
that is a garbage truck of an offense. And I'm just trying to be nice here, but Mike Crosland says Vol receivers were freaking huge, man. No, that's what a vertical offense looks like. That's typical what you're going to see every year out of a vertical offense, right?
Well, that was the only one they actually got away from. It was two balls that they hit down the field, passing like 15 yards. That one, yeah. Billy just missed the read. He was looking in the backfield too long, and the guy got behind him. And that's a fast kid too. That dude, once he got behind you, he's gone.
That offense is it's very similar of what Jeff Lebby would have brought to Oklahoma. That's why he went after some of those. That kid from
the exact same thing. Yes.
Yeah. That's why you guys brought in a 6'3" receiver. Like, that's what you're supposed to be on the outside with that system is 6'3", 6'4" receivers, right? That's why Alabama brought in Julio to adopt and kind of convert, not to a spread, but into that type of like throwing manner, I guess you could say. But yeah, man, it's wild. Yeah, it was wild. Coach, I didn't hear your take on the game.
You don't want to hear it.
You missed it.
Okay, that's what I think. That's what I figured.
You do want to hear it. You do want to hear it. He was ranting. It was great stuff. If he doesn't want to do it again, I mean, he's been. Look, I can see by the look on his face, he's getting sick of hearing about the quarterback. Aren't we, Coach? Is that what's going on?
Well, guys, when does it fucking stop? That's my point. We bitched about the quarterback last year, and Arnold was the savior. Now Arnold is in there. Oh, Arnold sucks. Hawkins is the savior. At what point does that shit stop?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said you can't give up on Arnold yet.
No, you're right.
You can't.
No. But I'm going to tell you what, guys. It's not going to be at OU. And the sad part about it is, y'all are going to need his ass, because the way Hawkins runs the ball, there's a good chance you're going to need Arnold.
When he flipped into that one, well, should have been a touchdown in my opinion. The dude did like a 360 flip. Come on, give the dude a damn touchdown. Yeah. I was like, at least on effort, give the man a touchdown.
Bradford 2.0, man, and you could see it right down the line. The ball crossed the fucking line. Thankfully, they got the touchdown either way. It doesn't really matter, but you should have given it to him because it was crazy stuff, right? But
6-inch line. Get out of here with that.
The 6-inch line is weird to me, right? What the hell is that, dude? In any event. My thing is like, your concern is you can't be putting yourself in that position, or else here's the hope. Maybe sitting down will help Jackson figure it out again. Because look, there's a reason why he was a 5-star coming into this thing. There's a reason why he won a lead. Some guys are camp guys. I get all that. I've heard all this story. This guy played for 2 6A state championships in Texas. He can play football.
Yeah,
he's not just a camp guy. Let's not get it crazy and say he's just a camp guy. I like Michael Hawkins. I think Michael Hawkins is going to be absolutely incredible. But the truth is, if he's to get hurt, we need somebody that can come in and play well. They still have everything in front of them, folks. Everything they want is still in front of them. I know it's a tough schedule. I know you've got some of the better teams coming up in that schedule. Okay, fine. It was going to be that no matter what.
There was no easy route. No. There was no easy pass. I don't care how good he played. If you would have beat Tennessee by 1 point, you still got a lineup, right? Like, there's no getting around this schedule. SEC is no joke moving forward with adding Oklahoma and Texas. Like, it's no joke.
This is a fair statement right here, what Sheila says, though. It's about performance. If you're not performing, you get replaced. It is a competitive. Hey, we're in a competitive business. And look, I said, being one of the guys that has stood up for Jackson Arnold for the first 3 weeks, at halftime, I was like, yeah, he had to come out. He had to come out.
I think it was just I figured he would be pulled when he was it the fumble or interception? I forgot what it was. And he went to the sideline and he looked distraught. Like, he looked confused. And I was like, that's when I was like, oh man, they're in trouble, because this dude is like, he is starstruck. Like, he does not know what's going on at this point. The lights were too big, and that stuff can go away after a couple of years. Like a perfect example, that's Mac Jones in Alabama. You know what I mean? Like he may be the guy that needs to sit for a couple of years to get his bearings underneath him. Because God help anybody if this dude leaves Oklahoma and ends up like someone commented at a place like Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin gets a hold of him and lets him sit.
You think that Lane wasn't already in his thought pattern? Because he was. They were recruiting him before Jeff ever left there.
So yeah. You know what I mean? Like that would be bad.
End up in Florida after DJ Lagway leaves, when they fire Billy, because they're, whatever is up. I mean, look, he's not going to go to some FCS school after this.
Believes he won't.
No. Yeah. I mean, guess what? Guess where he'll probably end up. I'll just give you guys a little hint. It'll be out west.
You think he'll end up at USC?
Would it surprise you?
No, of course not. Of course not. He needs to go. If this is really who he is, though, he does need to sit this year and possibly next year. You know what I mean? But that's unfortunate if you're Oklahoma, because that means you have to make a sacrifice. You would. In other words, Michael Hawkins better be ready now, because otherwise you're sacrificing this guy to the Wolves possibly if he doesn't come out like at the end of the year on this. Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it was time. Look, he had his opportunity. You get your 4 games early on in the year, and when it looks as bad as it looked, I mean, listen, I'll go through that line, and I mean, I took a picture of the scoreboard that had it up there at the time. 56% completions, 3 turnovers, all of them were on him. And then they had 76 total yards. We're like a couple of minutes before the half, guys. There was nothing else to say about it. They could have been in the game, and they weren't at the moment in the game. They weren't completely out of it. But at that moment, you had to make the switch to see if you could get back in it, if nothing else. The fact that he came in and played well is why he's the starter this week, right? I believe that that's the case. In the end, we don't have to continue with this conversation. There's a lot to talk about in college football. We got one of the biggest games of the year coming up this weekend with your Alabama Crimson Tide hosting the Georgia Bulldogs in Tuscaloosa. There's other teams that have lost some games too. I was hoping USCJ was going to pop in here and talk to us about what happened out there in Ann Arbor. I guess he decided he didn't want to talk about that. But look, it is what it is. What are you thinking about, Coach? What do you think about this weekend, Alabama hosting UGA?
Man, I'm excited about watching that ball game. I think it's going to be a damn dogfight. And again, Georgia hadn't exactly looked like world beaters. I thought they'd look better than they have, to be quite frankly. I figured they'd come into this year pissed off after what happened to them a year ago. And I just see it being a dogfight. I really do, from top to bottom. And I'm going to say, and not because you're in here, brother, but John, I think, and Jason, I think I'm going to take Alabama. I haven't been impressed with Georgia. But
they weren't great impressive against Kentucky. I think that's one of those matchups that kind of, styles make fights, and that's not a good style for them. But even then, they've had some moments on offense. They really hadn't looked great yet on offense. Alabama had their that USF game seems to just be kind of a tough game for them. They rebounded from that one very well. Real quick, AJB, the whole reel was not about blowing out Tennessee. You struggle, don't you? You struggle with understanding stuff, because the reel was talking about you Tennessee fans that were in everybody's mentions talking about how y'all were going to win by 50, which you still didn't do. The reel wasn't wrong. You guys have a hard time comprehending things, I believe is what it was. So there we are.
Well, you would too if you went to school at Tennessee.
That might be true, Coach.
That is true.
Please continue. Yes. I love it. Hi-yo. Hey, love Coach's rants and get you going South Texas. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Appreciate you. We're going to press on. We're going to see what happens with the rest of that season. We're not going to keep talking about Oklahoma. I'm kind of done with this conversation. We'll have plenty to talk about on Rise and Shine College Football in the morning about what comes next. I'll talk about it then. I'm done with this conversation for tonight.
Well, John, what's your thoughts on the upcoming ball game?
This is the most comfortable I've been playing Georgia in the past couple of years. I don't think Georgia has that dog at wide receiver. That they don't have the Lad McConkey, they don't have the Brock Bowers, they don't have that dude that's just going to take control at receiver. But at the same time, we're very young at the secondary. So you know what I mean? It's kind of a weakness on weakness, in my opinion, whether you want to consider a young secondary a weakness or not. They're going to have growing pains. You know what I mean? Red Morgan's given up. You know what I mean? He's been burnt a couple times, right? So Xavier Brown's been burnt once or twice. But when I look at this game, nothing strikes fear in me from Georgia. And it's not just even because of this year. It's the lineup, how everything's lined up. 2 defensive tackles are hurt. They're going to be missing most likely 2 starters at the defensive tackle position. We're finally healthy on the offensive line. Still got huge concerns from Elijah Pritchett on that right-hand side. But I'm hoping Nick Sheridan moves a tight into that side to at least get a chip block or something to help that dude out. Most likely we're going to be rolling this dude to the left. And we know what Georgia's weakness has been the past couple of years. When you do beat them, which the only team that's been able to beat them is Alabama, it's going to be a running quarterback. You know what I mean? So that's why I do feel confident. My biggest concern is just the defense. We allow a lot of perimeter running. We don't allow in the interior. Tim Keenan and those guys stuff the middle, you know what I mean, of the middle of the field. But when you look at the perimeter running, we get gashed. And that's where I'm most worried. Like I said, their offense doesn't strike fear. It's their defense, their front seven, still going to be beast. I'm just thinking the depth may become an issue over the course of the game, especially if Jam Miller and our running backs start running the ball fairly well, which is Elijah Pritchett, our weakest offensive lineman, in my opinion. His strength is running the ball, right? So run blocking. So, you know, I feel pretty confident. I don't think anybody's going to blow anybody out. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight. I think the big talking point that needs to be talked about in this game is the pressure Kirby Smart's going to be under. Kirby Smart is what, 1-7 against Alabama in the past 8 games.
8 games.
Something, it's somewhere around that line. Maybe not 1-7, but Georgia's been 1-7 in the past 8 games against Alabama. Kirby's got to beat Kalen DeBoer. You can't let Kalen DeBoer in year 1 show up and let this continue to where you just can't get over the Alabama hump. And so Kalen DeBoer I hate to say this, but he's almost expected to lose, right? So the pressure's not on you. The pressure's on Kirby, right? So, because God forbid, I'm telling you right now as an Alabama fan, if we beat Georgia, Georgia will turn into the new Auburn. I will dog them out every day. And I have all the respect in the world for Georgia, but they cannot allow Kalen DeBoer to show up the year removed from Nick Saban retiring and allow them to beat them. You know what I mean? So I think Kirby Smart's going to have something for them to give these guys some juice, something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, great point.
We can't lose this game. Otherwise, we're never going to hear the end of it.
Well, the juice comes from a year ago. I mean, that gummit. I know I'd be reminding the hell out of them what happened to us a year ago.
And that was Jalen Milroe. He's back.
Exactly. And
he's back in a better offense, period, right?
Exactly.
And that's the reason. That's the reason. Milroe is exactly the reason that I'm taking Bama to win this ball game. I think he's the difference maker in the ball game. And I know you talked about your edges defensively. That's where you're giving up your big plays, and that can be problematic because again, what you talked about was back behind there, but they're giving up the edges, and you got a young secondary group back there that just multiplies that problem. But I think, and I could be wrong, I think what you're going to see is I think you're going to see some. I'm not going to say blitzes, but you're going to see some packages where they're going to be coming off the edge a little bit to maybe get those plays taken care of in the backfield instead of once they're upfield on you. So I think we're going to see some of that in the ball game. I would think.
No doubt. And the biggest problem on the perimeter for us from the edges, right, and the linebackers, they get caught out of position and they over pursue. That's their biggest problem. It's not they can't tackle, but we do have a small problem with wrapping up. Don't get me wrong, but we can't secure the edge because we're consistently over pursuing. So when you consistently over pursue, it opens up, Coach Valleys right to run through. Yeah. And it drives me somebody like me crazy. Like, dude, come on.
But I think if they have some packages where they're bringing somebody downhill off the edge, and now you got your linebackers that can scrape over the top, then I don't think you'll overrun it with a linebacker near as much, because you're going to make them bounce to the outside. So now your linebackers got a good shot to make the play. So I think we're going to see some of that. I think we look for it in the ball game, but I think you're going to see some edge players coming off the edge.
And I think out of those 7 wins, I don't think we've beaten them by more than like 3 points except one time.
Right.
Like it's been that type of a dogfight literally between both teams.
Well, it's because they both
two great programs.
Right. They're built in the trenches. They both have really good defenses. They both got explosive players on the offensive side as well. I think that what you touched on at the very first, when you were saying that there's a lot of pressure on Kirby right here.
Yeah.
Because his kryptonite has been going up against Nick Saban. And that was always the talk, was Nick Saban, Nick Saban. If he comes out here against a guy who's in his first year, they had a lot of guys that left, not as many left as it makes it look like. They still have a great talent roster in Tuscaloosa, a great talent roster. But if you still come out there and you lose now to a guy that everybody wanted to say does not belong in the South, can't recruit in the South, and everybody's ass in recruiting right now, then what happens now? What happens now to Kirby Smart? Because does it change the narrative about who the best coach in the country is if you can't go in there and get this done?
There's
a lot of pressure there.
I don't think that changes because he is in the East right now. Active coaches, he has 2 national.
He's got 2 national championships, but so does Dabo Swinney.
But look at the state of the programs. Georgia's
I agree.
And they just hammered Clemson at the end of the season.
In the second half, they hammered Clemson.
Well, yeah. If you look at the final score, that's what I'm paying attention to. You know what I mean? So, but I agree. And look, Georgia, Alabama, it's going to be a dogfight. Tennessee's entering that conversation. You know what I mean? I think here soon. Oklahoma's on their way up when they get offense.
There's a lot of teams that are on their way there. You look at Lane Kiffin and what he's got going at Ole Miss, although I still question it. I still question that. I think there's some programs, though. I think that there's teams that are in better shape than LSU is right now. They just lost Harold Perkins for the season.
They're screwed. Which
is wild because they weren't that damn good on defense anyway, and now they lost their best player on the defense. So that could be troublesome for them. They let UCLA hang in there way long.
LSU's not good. They're not good.
I don't think they're great either.
So
as far as you don't think he has any pressure, yes, he does. Yes, he does. About Kirby having pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And you say he's got pressure. There's pressure there because of the fact that this is still Alabama. They are the one program in the country they've won more championships than anybody else, and they've owned this league. And if now you're still not beating the next guy, the guy that replaced the king, then what?
If you don't think Kirby has pressure, guys, go ahead and get that jackhammer and take your 10 penny now and see if you can drive it up his ass. Because his ass is tight as hell right now.
Tight. Yeah, look, and it should be, man. If not, you shouldn't be coaching.
Right.
He went on to he did an interview yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. It may have been this morning. In the entire entire conversation was, is it weird that you're not playing against Nick Saban? And they mentioned the record about 19 times. And I was like, that right there, and you could tell Kirby Smart was getting aggravated. It's like, can we move on from this? And it's like, no, that's why the pressure is there, is because that will be the talking point, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
So like you've got to drive that home.
Well, and you know, guys, coaches, you know, and again, Kirby's created his own pressure here.
Yeah,
I mean, coaches create their own pressures, and Kirby's created this, and you know, we'll see how he handles it. I mean, that's the big thing we're going to see on Saturday.
Yeah, it's like Sean D says, 49-2 with both losses to Bama. One stop on a 3-peat is definitely pressure.
What kind of stat is that, man? Yeah. What kind of stat is that? Shit.
That'd be 51-0.
I'm not even bad mouthing Kirby Smart. The guy's won 2 natties and 2 out of the last 3 natties. And aside from we're looking at it, 49-2 with 2 losses to Alabama.
Hell, he's done a tremendous job. And
he's doing a great job, and they still are unbelievably talented there. Now, we haven't seen them put it together yet on the offensive side of the ball. I like their quarterback quite a bit. I'm not sure what we're going to get from them in these newer receivers. I think that's what they're breaking in more than anything else. But I really like that running back in the second half of that Clemson game. And not even ETN, the freshman running back that they had coming in. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Stud, right? If they can they need to get their running game going. And if you do that, then you make it a lot easier on Carson Beck to kind of get settled in there and get some things going. Because if you're going to pick on Alabama anywhere, it's going to be in your secondary there because they're just young and they haven't been really tested just yet. I don't know that Georgia can do that. I'm going to pick Alabama in a close game, mostly because it's at home, and I like Jalen Milroe as well. And look, not for nothing, we hadn't said a word about Kalen DeBoer yet. He came into this season 104-12.
Yeah.
With less talented teams than he's got right now. Ryan Williams is a bad dude, freshman or not. You let him get open, he's gone. And Milroe can hurt you in a lot of ways. I think Coach is right. You better get your pressure on the outside and keep him in the pocket, because if he gets outside of the pocket, you're in deep shit. Jalen Milroe is the difference here. I like Alabama in a close game.
I can tell you right now what you're about to see a whole lot of. So Ryan Williams gets almost all the attention for the speed, but nobody wants to talk about that. He possibly is not even the fastest on the team. When you look at Kobe Prentice, right? This dude is damn near just as fast. Kendrick Law is super fast. Like, the fact is you're probably about to see a whole lot of screens, you know what I mean? A whole lot of mesh routes. They're going to bust these dudes out in space and let them run. It's already been said that, look, they have not opened the playbook on defense. Kane Womack already said that. You guys have not seen but 20% of the defensive packages, plain and simple. The offense, everybody's assuming that's the same thing for the offense. So this is going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's going to be fun. And I have Bama in a very, very close game. No matter what, this game's probably not going to be above the 20s. I think this is probably a 27-24 game.
I agree. I think this could be one of those really low scoring. It could maybe not even get into the 20s. I could see that happening as well because you got 2 good defenses. But have you heard anything about this hurricane coming through?
Yeah.
Moving football games or anything like that?
Yeah. So Helen or Helene, I don't know the name of the hurricane. It's actually hitting not tonight, in a couple of days. It's supposed to hit, I believe, around Panama City, Florida, and go up into into Alabama. So, but no, you know how these things. Let me get on the Weather Channel. You know how these things maneuver, man. So, but yeah,
Helen is strengthening.
They expect it to be a severe, actually a big hurricane.
3.
Yep.
Right now, this is according to the Tallahassee Storm Tracker. It should be stronger ahead of landfall, according to the man. I guess there's a possibility there. And I think that it's not that they can't handle the hurricane there. It'd probably be cleanup wise. It would make it tough for anybody to be able to go.
That would be rough.
Possible, you know. Yeah.
Have a mud
It
bowl.
sucks. It sucks. Yeah, it would have a mud bowl, no doubt.
Like that. That would be
No doubt.
kind of fun to watch.
And I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are looking forward to getting an opportunity to go. You hear that Auburn has one of the best, obviously one of the better tailgate scenes out there, you know, and just a lot. And I think for us OU fans, a lot of us are looking forward to being able to go and experience some of these new venues and these fan bases and, you know, and everything that comes with it. But so that would suck if that's the chance. I guess it is a possibility. I know it's something you don't get a lot of hurricanes in Norman. So, you know, and it's not tornado season, so it should be okay. You know,
yeah,
it's funny, man. On Saturday morning, I was sitting outside of I was talking to my son on the phone, but I was sitting outside of Academy, and I heard one of those sirens went off, and I think they were just testing it because it was early in the morning or whatever. Because I'm looking around, it's nothing, and I'm like, this better not be a damn tornado right now. And I'm thinking, nah, it's not. It's not tornado season. I know better. But you know, you get a little sketched out when you're in tornado land. You know,
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, no, I've experienced a couple, not up close, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. The hurricane hunters are based out of, my dad brought me with him and flew into Hurricane Andrew. It was awesome. That's insane. That's insane. Flying into the hurricane.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good, bro. There's certain things I'm not gonna do. Flying in a hurricane.
I'm good on that too. I'm not chasing tornadoes either. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
So if it's at Norman, is there any chance your team can win? No. Yes, of course. It's a freaking SEC game. I don't know. To be honest with you, it would be tougher. But the hope, obviously, being that you get a lot better play out of your quarterback and your defense continues to play as good, I think it would be harder on you to win in Norman than it will be in apparently the haunted stadium that is Jordan Hare. I think it'd be a different scenario, but you never know. You never know.
Chicken 1515 puts it on the spot. He said Auburn, anything is possible, and that's facts, dude. You never know what's going to happen in Jordan Hare. Never.
I know you might even have New Mexico State come in there and kick your ass,
which is weird. Auburn will play down to competition and get smashed by Cal, not smashed, or New Mexico State, and then turn around and push Georgia into almost overtime, which makes absolutely no sense. But it is what it is.
Well, and like, you know, but you hear that, yes, Auburn has been bad so far this year. But these are the kind of things that a team like Oklahoma can't afford to listen to.
No.
You can't afford to listen to this and believe me, Brent Venables is not allowing them to think like this whatsoever because you have no room to move right now. You lost and it didn't look good most of the way. Other than on the defensive side of the ball, it didn't look good for most of the way. There's some positive possibilities, but you got to see them go out there and do it now. And so, yeah, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to guarantee a thing about Oklahoma right now. I like where they are. I love this defense. But, yeah, look, man, I would really hope, really hope that, if it went to Norman, it would be a little better. But listen, again, I want to see them play better. That's all I want to see.
Here's what I'll just wait one last statement on this. Guys, Hugh Freeze is going to be coaching for his job. Remember that. Like, right? So when coaches get in these desperation spots, kind of because there's people already calling for Hugh Freeze's head. Way worse than now Billy Napier almost because of the stuff he's saying. But
yeah. And look, Sean D's not wrong. I remember that year. That was the year that they beat both of them, and then they ended up losing to UCF. And what was it, like the Sugar Bowl or something?
Dude, on last second plays, both teams they beat on last second plays. How lucky! I swear they had to have a 40 blow up their ass or something. Sorry, but yeah, I swear, man, how that happens, I don't know.
Yeah, you can tell John really loves Auburn, huh?
Yeah.
Freeze lost the team already, throwing players under the bus. That was something I was going to ask Coach about. At some point, you got to kind of look. I understand you know players are expected to play or whatever, But what is it lately about all these coaches that are throwing them under the bus for games that don't go well? And this is one of them that you've seen doing it a lot. I don't know if you're Hugh Freeze, if you can afford to look badly to your possible next employer by doing this kind of shit. Can you, I mean, with all the other stuff that comes along with him, you would think he would do better as a coach.
Well, to me, that all comes down, guys, comes down to who you are as a person, who you are as a leader. The good ones don't throw their players under the bus. They, now you may call them out, in your office or in a meeting room, but you don't throw them under the bus. And, if you're going to throw a player under the bus, they'll throw anybody under the bus. And when you know that you're dealing with that type of leader, you're not going to, number one, you're not going to have people's respect. You don't have their confidence. Yeah. And guys, that's why, talking about he's lost the team. Well, hell, you lose my ass if you were talking about, so-and-so didn't get the job done. And, because at the end of the day, some of those players could probably turn around and say, you know what? We lost the game because we don't have a coach worth of shit. Yeah. I mean,
that's fair. But Peyton Manning and Jim Moore, remember?
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, when you have a coach that's doing that crap, that to me, that ain't a coach. That's a piece of shit.
And it's wild. It's just because, the one thing we knew about him is that he could coach them up. I mean, they beat Alabama twice in a couple of years, in about a 4-year time
frame.
He
was a Saban killer. He was. That's what they called him.
He was. And obviously he had the off the field stuff, the wild shit that was going on in his personal life and stuff like that. I mean, Bobby Petrino-esque, if you want to call it that way. It might even been a little worse than what Bobby P was doing. But in the end, you go off and you do all this stuff. And I mean, the one thing that you should be able to fall back on is that your players care about you and all that stuff. And then you're throwing them under the bus. Look, when they were talking to Brent Venables about what was going on with Jackson Arnold and why they threw him, I mean, these are questions that are coming right at him. He still didn't throw him all the way under it wasn't just he was like, look, we felt like we had to make the change there. There was things that were going on within these plays that should have never happened. We had to make the change at that point. He never dogged him. And he still isn't, and so to me, look, I get it. Everybody, sometimes you need that little cool off period. I think coaches should get a cool off period before they go talking to people after games when they've lost. I mean, look, I always knew, I just remember going back to when I was the sports editor here in Hobbs and coach had just become the coach. I knew pretty quick that after a loss, let him be for 30 minutes and then go see him. You can get 5 minutes with him instead of 15, and it's probably better anyway, because otherwise you never know. But, it's sometimes you need to do that. And I think you should do that with players too. In the end, I don't know that this was a great experiment with Hugh Freeze, because it was weird to me that he didn't go find a quarterback in the portal this past season. It's almost, he acted like he didn't need one. And Peyton Thorpe wasn't good last year.
Here's the thing. Look, this is what makes no sense to me. So someone brought up the Cadillac curse. I'm going to tie in something real quick that may be pissing off some people. Look, why did Brian Harsin get fired? Because he supposedly had an affair with a female, right? So I can't remember if it was the secretary, whatever it may have been.
Well, I'm just proud it was a female.
True to that. But the point of it is they had no evidence and there was nothing showing that this actually happened. But they fired him based off of speculation because they didn't want the drama. But then you go and bring in a man that's surrounded by drama already, that brings in a horrible reputation already of bringing in drama and committing violations left and right. What is the logic? And then you want to sit there as an administration and pretend like you don't know why this is going on? Are you serious? It's an administration problem. It's a booster problem. This is the head of the snake all the way down. Auburn has a problem from top to bottom. And you know what? They're doing it to themselves at this point. So, and Cadillac should have been given the chance to be the coach. The dude proved himself left and right. I don't care what anybody says. The dude was doing things the right way. At this point, you just have to get a coach in there that does things the right way. Just bring somebody in that won't commit violations and won't apparently sleep with everybody. So I think you may be fine.
But the whole, if that was really what was going on, and that's why you fire Brian Harsin, which I don't know that I believe all that shit, because this woman was on his staff when he was at Boise also.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was
I don't believe that all that shit is actually what's going on. I think they just needed a reason, and this is what I don't understand about the way that they toss these folks under the bus with these coaches. There's a lot of shit that goes on. It seems like at Auburn.
Yeah, at Auburn.
It always seems like at Auburn that they find this reason and they don't want to pay the guy on their way out because of some little bullshit that's going on. You don't want the guy. Why the hell did you hire him? Number one. And if you're making bad hires after bad hire after bad hire, which I would tell you, this is 3 bad hires in a row now, because you can, I mean, Gus was kind of half-assed. I think he's still kind of half-assed.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. But I promise you one thing. They would take Gus over what they have right now.
Sure.
And
Well, who would it?
I mean? So, yeah, Auburn doomed forever. Yeah, man, I almost feel bad for you guys. If I were an Alabama fan, I'd feel bad for you.
Yeah,
so
it was something about credit cards and women or something like that. But it was also there. I heard this Ty was talking about this on his show yesterday a little bit, where he was talking about that's, and it was more of a rumor. There was anything out there that was substantiated or anything like that. And you've got people that are close to your program that are floating these things out there. When the man is married, you better be right. You better be right, because you're ruining people's lives like that. You know, I hope that it's worth it, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. It's in the end, I hope that Oklahoma is able to go ahead and get this one done this weekend on the road, whether it's on the road or in Norman. You need a win right now. You need to get that win. You got to beat this team. Yeah.
I have a feeling if you lose to Auburn, this could get really bad.
It could. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. With this defense and the way that they're recruiting, Brent Venables is not going anywhere.
Oh, no, he's not going anywhere, but I'm talking about he can get bad this year.
As far as the offensive coaches are concerned, yes, there's already problems there. There's the pitchforks are out, and it's not just coming from people in the fan base. The pitchforks are out. And I also think, and I actually believe that BV is leading the charge when it comes to that. These guys are definitely almost for sure on an 8-game job interview right now.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is if you're Brent Venables and you have to fire them after one season, that is on you.
Yeah. You brought him in.
You're the one that brought him. So if y'all lose to us, heads should be rolling. Don't say shit like this. No more of you. No more of this, Auburn.
Latrell won't get back on the plane.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
He'll be left on the tarmac.
Yeah. They're going to leave his ass in Auburn.
Yeah, just like they did Lane Kiffin with USC. Like, nope, you're not coming back.
Catch a flight, asshole.
Yeah. Take an Uber.
But to Dallas. Don't come here. Yeah. Look, Seth Latrell is an Oklahoma guy. That's the other thing I want to say. You folks, we kill these guys that are OU alum. Relax. He was also on the I hope Seth gets it done. I really, really do. I hope Seth can figure it out. And I would also, again, I want to reiterate this narrative about him not having never been a quarterback and being the quarterback coach. It's not as far-fetched and crazy as you think it is. All you got to do is go back to Jeff Lebby, who was an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
He's done fine with quarterbacks. It's not about that. You can learn to coach them. You know, you can learn to coach them. The Lane Kiffin situation was hilarious. Yeah. For everybody but Lane. For everybody but Lane. You don't think BV brought Joe John to it?
He's still on the staff.
And he's still an Oklahoma alum and one of the all-time great tight ends in Oklahoma history. He's not an idiot. And they wanted him to stay bad enough that they made him co-coordinator when he was going to go be the coordinator at Mississippi State. Now, he wouldn't have been calling plays, just like he's not now. He was going to go be the coordinator, though. So they wanted him to be here. They wanted him to be here. Well, we ran him out too. That's for sure. Hey, look, this is something that they do at Oklahoma. We know this.
Oh, yeah. I wish Alabama would learn their lesson before they brought in Mike Shula, because he was a good old boy and Alabama alum, and then we had to suffer through that.
It's hard, man. Sometimes I think it's hard. I think it's really hard for you. Want to stay in touch with your past, and especially if your glory years of your past and stuff like that. I think at some point, and I think I was talking about this with Mike the Legend yesterday, but sometimes you probably need to break away from it a little bit and go get an outside perspective in certain situations, right? I just think sometimes that's what you got to do. But I think in the case of Auburn, what was wrong with Cadillac Williams at the end of the year? At the end of that year,
I can tell you what was wrong with it. It's Cadillac Williams would have said stuff that people wouldn't have liked. Auburn has a problem. They have a toxic environment, and that stuff can't get out in the open.
And he would have let it out. He would have let it out in the open of what was happening and shit.
Yep. He would have cleaned house. So no, that couldn't happen there.
Sometimes, but there's another thing that needs to happen sometimes, I think sometimes you need to have some of these boosters that are pains in the asses and part of the problem need to get the fuck out the way.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
You don't have to have their money. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it that you've got to cater to some money, but there's a line that you get to that'll screw the whole thing up. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Coach, you good over there?
He's good. Over there. He's taking a nap.
No, I got I got a business email that I was needing to look at. Sorry.
BV perfect situation. The reason being, I'm guessing what Chicken's saying is because he's not exactly from OU, but he's been at OU. And, so he's kind of OU family, but he's a K-State guy because that's where he went to school. But, yeah, I think that kind of is what it is. He was, OU fans should feel lucky. You're not this broken. No, we're not. And thankful, and we are grateful for that. Chicken, he was outperformed. Yeah, but Kimberly K, I was kind of remembering that you said that yesterday. I don't think it was just about that. I think there was a lot of stuff going on that year. They averaged 36 points a game, which is enough to win most seasons, particularly back in 2014. That should be enough to win most games. They win 8-5. I guess they did win most of their games, but that 8-5 isn't good enough at Oklahoma. But to me, that was either Mike Stoops had to go or Josh had to go, and they did get blown out of that game. They got blown out of the game. They only scored 6 points in the game, which made it easy for Stoops to not fire his brother and fire Josh instead. And Josh hasn't gotten over it. I don't care what people say. They haven't gotten over it. Hey, Mike Hoochie, run along with the Notre Dame shit.
Hey, buddy, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're not going to affect him like that.
They were trying to be in the damn Big Ten 60 years ago, and the anti-Catholic movement at Michigan and places like that is what kept them from going in. Now they don't need your ass, and y'all are bitching about it. Shut up.
Yeah, we don't need you motherfuckers.
Wild.
I don't know what's more wild, that or USC. By the way, Michigan. It's not even they lost to Michigan. It's how. It's Michigan ran the ball 96 times in a row, didn't try to hide it, and still beat them. Wow.
Oh, this guy wants to talk shit. Still mad Lincoln Riley let us hide. No, we're glad that Lincoln Riley's gone. Thank you very much. We wouldn't be ready for the SEC at any point in the near future if Lincoln, Mr. Scared of the SEC, was around. I'm good.
Mike Hoochie. Number one, your name Hoochie reminds me of something that your picture looks like. So
like a coochie.
If I were you, I'd get rid of that picture you got there and find a better one. Because you're looking a little hoochie coochie.
You should be one of those guys, Mike Hoochie, that has another picture on your, your YouTube deal. Put your team or something shit on there. It would help.
Be a hell of a lot better.
You want to talk trash? You found the wrong place, bro. I got to tell you, you found the wrong place. Let's see. Yeah, yes, but let's talk about that a little bit. Michigan, that has looked, the week before only beat Arkansas State by 10 points. I guess they could have been looking ahead. I'm sure they were looking ahead.
Yeah.
But this is not a great look for USC. Especially, they want everybody to believe they're back and they're, Lincoln's got it under control. They're going to be okay. This is the year that you should beat Michigan. You should beat them.
Everybody had Michigan losing that game. Like, there was no reason for Michigan to win. They put Alex Orji at quarterback, knowing he can't throw the ball. He can only run. They only run the ball. They just straight up lined up and punched you in the mouth. That's exactly what they did. And I was really surprised that I guess I shouldn't be, but their defense looked slightly improved this year after that game. And yeah, that wasn't a good look.
Is this really Dr. Barry McCockiner?
We're making up names now.
Now we're just making shit up.
That is one of the best names.
Dr. Barry McCockiner.
That's top 3 I've seen so far.
That's what that is.
Burying.
Barry, we like you because of your name.
Yep.
But you got to shut up. That's never going to happen. Texas will always be little brother to us because, it is what it is. They just don't win that often. They're not going to win this time either. But I love the name. You should have changed your picture too, though. All right. Fight on that. It makes you kind of wonder, though, not a single holding call against Michigan, the Arsenio Hall.
I'll give you that.
Make you go home.
But I
keep hearing that too. I keep hearing
when you don't throw the ball a lot. If you're running the ball, they don't really throw a lot of flags for holding. And I think Jerome Moore took advantage of that. So,
at what point are we going to stop arguing about or bitching about officials when you lose football games all the time? You gave up 80-yard runs and shit this weekend. I know it's such a great defense, right? But I don't know. You gotta stop. They're one-dimensional. Michigan is one-dimensional. They can't throw the ball
at all.
Kind of should have expected that right up the gut shit.
Like they had Christopher Watkins at quarterback.
Well, I can tell you guys
that's already there, but I will give him a quick timeout just because it's fun.
I can tell you guys that sounds eerily much like the Irish. We can't throw to feed the starving birds.
Neither can Michigan. We can
never sure run the hell out of it, though.
Thank you for the super chat, Sooner in Texas. You're a Sooner. I will, I made that happen for you there. Now, remember, Ben G is also a member of this program, though, so we're not just going to do it most of the time. But he said something earlier that kind of pissed me off, so I'll go with that. Ben G is a Texas fan. We got to throw him out at least once a show. Otherwise, it's just not right.
It's just not right.
Chicken.
So they already postponed Alabama A&M. So Alabama A&M game's already been pushed out.
Okay.
So they're already starting to push games.
They're down in South Alabama, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Actually, I think where was the game at? Either way, it's Florida Atlantic is who they're playing. So either way, it's in Florida or South Alabama.
Screwed either way.
So, you're canceling that game no matter what.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't flood you out, it's going to be funking. It's going to be a lot of nastiness going on down there, right? Mars is fun. Oh, now you guys are just working at it, right? You're changing names and shit like that.
What is it? Hang on, I gotta come back over here.
Here. Look, it's right on the screen.
Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh,
it's the greatest NASCAR name in the history of NASCAR. Dick Trickle.
It's true.
Oh.
So are we on the Miami is pretty good track yet? Because I've been on that. I think Cam Ward makes them a good
They're
team.
very good. They've got talent. That doesn't mean they can't screw it up. I think their team is very good.
Yeah, I agree
Do
with
I
that.
think that they win the ACC? I kind of have to see that first.
Yeah.
I think that they look good. Here comes Charles Crows Fly High, my man. You can say whatever you want after your donation last week. Charles, you are the man.
Charles, you the man, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Dirt Diggler. Could be, hey, listen, you guys all start changing your names for all I care. You guys are, this is funny stuff. Trickle D. All right, guys, come on, man. Let's talk some freaking football here a little bit, for God's sakes. All right, I'm going to go through some of these other games that are going on this week. Let's see, man. So, Coach, we all picked Alabama here. I guess that I will reserve the right to change my selection at a later date. But I think right now it's going to be a great game. But I got Alabama too, so I think it's going to be a hell of a game, though, man. It's going to be fun.
I agree.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been kind of looking forward to this game for a minute.
I'll tell you another.
Go ahead.
So another game you better pay attention to is Illinois, Penn State.
Yep.
Bielema is not joking around.
Listen, Blake Bielema has been, or Brent Bielema has been a really good coach for a long time. He plays defense. They run the shit out of the ball. He doesn't want to put the ball in the air. They're going to play hard-nosed defense. 2 years ago, it looked like they were making a run at it too. They ended up getting rolled in their last couple of games when they went up against the best in the Big Ten. I don't know that Penn State's one of the best in the Big Ten at this moment.
I'm not sold on them at all. Like, none.
This one is in Happy Valley, yes?
Yeah. And I think that is the statement for Ottomeyer and their quarterback. Like, everybody doubted. And I think this is almost like a vengeance tour. Like, can you imagine if this ends up as Ohio State versus like Illinois in the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I could imagine it.
Oregon nor USC possibly ends up. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think if you're USC, I mean, going back to what we were talking about with that game, losing that game. Now you have some games at home coming up. You've got Penn State coming up at home towards the end of the year, but you got Nebraska. Nebraska, they lost to Illinois. I felt like they were probably going to win that game, but all you had to do was keep kind of, doing what you're doing if you're Illinois, and just they made it into a fist fight in a phone booth, and that's not really what Nebraska is right at the moment. I still think it was a great game. I would say, yeah, they've got Nebraska coming up. They've got, what's their other tougher games? They've got Penn State. I want to say Wisconsin.
USC.
Yes, Wisconsin's this week, isn't it?
USC or Wisconsin is a hot
They're
mess.
not very good.
Yeah, they got Wisconsin this week.
Yeah,
they're in trouble because Tyler Van Dyke's out for the season.
Saw that.
They're in trouble. They're in bad trouble. So yeah, I think Illinois. I think Indiana still undefeated. I believe.
Yeah,
I don't take them as serious, but Illinois, I think, yeah.
But but they don't. And here's the thing: they don't have to play Oregon, and they don't have to play Ohio State. Their toughest games. I don't think that USC's out of that championship race, because even if they were to lose to Notre Dame at the end of the regular season, that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter.
Well,
Wisconsin's pretty deep at quarterback. No, they're not. Most of them ran along when they brought that guy in there.
Yeah, the guy that their backup, he did give Tyler Van Dyke supposedly a good run for his money, but at the end of the day, like he's a very young. From my understanding, he's a very young quarterback. Phil Longo's system, it's pretty complicated, but. You never know. At this point, I thought I gave confidence in USC's defense, and now I'm back to you could possibly lose almost any game now because I don't trust your defense.
I don't trust their defense in the middle, and that's what I said from the start. Was they're soft in the middle. When anybody but Bear Alexander and the guy that was from A&M, name is escaping me right now.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
They
he's
got
good.
Gentry back too. That's
Right.
what's crazy.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just feel like they don't have a ton of depth there, though. Right? I think they've done a pretty good job as far as I think they got a really good coaching staff, and as far as the defense is concerned, I do. But I think that it's tough, and as long as you're not winning national championships and really being good on the defensive side of the ball, and you're not winning California, guys, I think it's going to be hard for them to get a lot better until they switch coaches. I really believe that Matt Ince is the guy that's going to replace Lincoln Riley. I think that's why they hired him.
Really?
I do. I think that Jen Cohen, she's the one that hired Kalen DeBoer to Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she was at USC, Lincoln's not there. Thank God she was not at USC at that moment, because Lincoln probably still be where he's at.
Or you go up and get the guy that can recruit to California, which his name is Dan Lanning. That's not going to happen, but I want to stir the pot a little bit.
You would say that. Everybody acts like Dan Lanning was being so loyal to Oregon. That's all horse shit, and we know it.
Of course, money talks. Come on now.
Dude, come on, man. If Alabama had been calling his name, he's on the next thing smoking out of Eugene. Come on.
Yeah, there's no some jobs you're just not going to turn down.
Anthony Lucas is who I was talking about. Correct.
There we go, Anthony Lucas. Yep.
Well, look, I know what everybody should have Mint Mobile. Hey, look at there, Stephen G. Like setting it up perfectly, my man. If you would like to switch onto, if you need to switch your phone service, check out Mint Mobile. Get 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45 for 3 months. That's $15 a month on the nation's largest 5G network. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. That's trymintmobile.com/HOF. We switched to Mint Mobile on my phone. You don't even have to switch phones. You can try it out for those 3 months with the service you already have as well. Go ahead, Coach. What do you got?
Oh, I'm just pointing at it.
Oh, just pointing it out.
Oh,
Good.
he's pointing it out. Yeah,
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Yeah, you can try it out with the phone you have. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul. It definitely helps the program out. Whoa. Definitely helps the program out, but it also will help your pocketbook. Check it out today. You can also get your officially licensed team apparel from our HOF Media Fanatics shop, hofmedia.us/fanatics. All your officially licensed gear from Fanatics, even lower prices than what you're used to if you're shopping there on your own. Get in there and check it out. And if you would like some of our official show merch, including the Coach I Don't Give a Shit t-shirt and hat, jump on to hofmedia.us/pod-merch and check it all out. We've got our horns down gear. It always meant more at Oklahoma t-shirts and hats as well. Get in there and check it all out. And thank you, Stephen G, for that. We will give a...
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
That's pretty awesome. And if you guys want to send me money through Cash App, just hit me up.
You can always do that as well. That's actually the best way to send us cash through Cash App. We've got our Cash App and Venmo handles right in the
man.
We'll even toss old John's in there as well.
Oh
John,
my gosh.
how is your you get jumping up on these subscribers and stuff? He's been helping us out a lot with our SEO stuff. We want to make sure that we get everybody over there to check out his channel as well.
I'm getting there. It's a hobby. It's fun. I like doing it. You know what I mean? So, well, I'll get there when I get there. That's the way I always approach these things. I think I'm at like I don't know. I actually don't know how many subscribers I'm at. Actually, let me jump over.
Where are we at, Jason?
We are we jumped up a little bit over the last week. We had a lot of views last week. I think a lot of it was that one, the reel that it killed it on TikTok where I'm not monetized, but over 80,000 views on that TikTok.
Wow.
We've had 20,000 here. So we had a big week. A big week, man. We are just at, let me check real quick.
Yeah, I got an Uber YouTube channel, and Had a video go over 133,000 views, and it's 8 seconds long.
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Crap. Actually,
It's-
we're approaching 3,900. We're approaching 3,900. We're at 3,866. We crossed over to 3,800 last weekend. Already jumped up a little bit. So our average is about 100 to 150 a month. So that's ahead of schedule. So it's good. It's good. It's good.
Good.
Losses bring in content. Let's be good. Hey. We need to win. No, that's not what it does. It's beating people and talking a little trash does help a little bit, though.
Or just shit talking Tennessee. Because, I mean, I got a lot of viewers. I got a lot of Tennessee people on my channel dogging me out right now.
They're wild, aren't they?
Dogging. I was like,
Bro, they were talking about dog walking Oklahoma. We're going to beat them by 50. Tennessee by 50. Everybody's saying it. It don't matter that they're going to be there in Norman.
Bro.
Tennessee by 50. They didn't win by 50. They won by 10. Relax.
I said Oklahoma had an elite defense. And then, like, a couple minutes later, I said Tennessee had a great defense. And there's people on there actually dogging me out, talking about how are you going to say Oklahoma has an elite defense and Tennessee only has a great defense? And I'm like, you guys are nitpicky. Like, you are petty. Like, dear Lord.
Wow. Right?
It's
That's
that. It's like that.
See, I've gotten 10 new, all the new stuff that isn't on this channel right now I'm still getting comments from those folks from Tennessee. Aren't y'all
Bro.
moving on to your next game yet? I mean, for shit, man, come on.
I don't know who they play next.
Now,
they probably got a bye week, which if they got a bye week, God help us both, because that means they're going to be crawling all over our videos.
Yeah, it sucks. To be honest, though, there was also some pretty cool fans that were there, and some of them that have been like, "Yeah, you're right, we're a little wild," But it's been, let's see. So if you go to what you do to join, if you want to become a member of our Hall of Fame Mafia, what you do is go to the join button. It's pretty much right next to the thumbs up button, which, by the way, if you haven't already hit that, I would ask you why not, because that's free. Everything you do there is free. We've only got 33 likes right now. We are over 600 viewers at the moment. So, get in there and hit the like button. Make sure you wipe your feet as you come in here. We would appreciate it.
And for those of you that don't like Notre Dame, hit the thumbs down button for me real quick.
More of that too. Yeah, either or.
Yeah. If you don't like Notre Dame, you like to talk shit about them, hit the thumbs down. That'd fire me up.
Sorry.
Put it in the chat. So it'd be HOF Media. No, oh no, it isn't. Hold on. I will put it in the chat there, T-Boomer. Gotcha, buddy. All right. Let me look at another couple of these games. The biggest one.
While you're looking.
Go ahead, Coach. I was going to talk about the fact that Okie Light got beat this past weekend by Utah. But the bigger one, K-State going on the road, and BYU pretty much
the one I was fixing to talk about.
Go ahead. Bring it on. Talk about it.
No, BYU guys, I thought a year ago this was going to be the BYU we were going to be seeing a year ago. Obviously, that didn't pan out. But I'm telling you, I'm not surprised that they're playing good football. I think what's the coach's name? Kalani or
Sataki? Yes,
Sataki. Yeah, I was really impressed with him at media days, and just he's got it under control. And I tell you what, I would love to see BYU rip through that Big 12 and win it.
They were picked to finish last. So remember last year when we were at Big 12 Media Days and they picked West Virginia to finish last, and Neil Brown was a mad son of a bitch about it. Mad. Right?
Yeah.
They had BYU picked to finish last this season. They're undefeated still. They've beaten one of the early ACC semi-favorites in SMU. They went on the road to do that. And then now they showed everybody why BYU is such a feared place to go play a game, because one of the toughest places to play in the country, they beat the shit out of K-State, who was rolling.
38-9.
Big game. Big win.
They
Man.
rolled them up like a cheap trick.
Mhm.
LSU better watch out. They're playing South Alabama, which is averaging about 85 points a game right now.
Yeah.
They put up what 87 last week. Doesn't even make sense how do you put up that many freaking points?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? BYU put up 41. They put up 34 and 38. Well, against SMU, they only put up 18. But they've been putting up some points.
Yeah.
Uncle Lou guys saying, Uncle Lou says all that kinds of shit like that all the time. What do you want to? You don't get in a freaking knife fight with a freaking swordsman. I mean, you know, he talks shit better than anybody. I'm not messing with Uncle Lou right now. But you know what'll change that? Oklahoma going and winning some games in the SEC, like on the road. You know,
Against Auburn.
Against Auburn would be good. Yeah, listen, if you don't want that to be the narrative, go beat Auburn on the road. You know, even though, especially the fact that they're not very good, they need to do it. They need to do it. Uncle Lou is never wrong, Carlton Banks says. He's wrong sometimes, but he's fun about it. He has a lot of fun. We talked to, in fact, I proved him wrong last year, and that was fun, but he never will admit that. It's fun. I like Uncle Lou.
Did you guys talk about Jay Madison going to the national championship this year, apparently, and putting up 70 points on King Mac? Mac Brown?
Oh,
Big Mac, man.
Dude, James Madison beat North Carolina 70 to like 50.
Yeah.
What?
Not good, right? Well, last year they had the same kind of game with App State, right? And barely came out on top of that one.
Yeah.
Well, this one they got smoked.
Yeah.
Their quarterback.
I tell you another game I'm kind of interested in watching a little bit. Not that it's going to be a big national game at the end of the year, but or have much meaning. But A&M and Arkansas, I kind of want to watch that one. They're both 3-1, and I really like to see that.
Yeah,
it should be a fun game.
Mac needs to return to Texas. Hey, that was the best they've been in a long ass time, and I'll still tell you he's better overall than what Sark is. He is.
Their quarterback had 388 yards, 5 TDs, no interceptions. We're talking about James Madison's. And they ran for 223 yards, 2 more touchdowns. They had 3 sacks, a couple turnovers. I mean, they dominated. They didn't just squeak by.
Yeah, Charles Crows Fly High. It's Bama Talk with John. Bama Talk with John everywhere. It's the same on Twitter, correct? Bama Talk with John.
No, I had to change it because my name, for some stupid reason, there's 5 people with Bama Talk with John. How is that even possible?
Well, John's a pretty name, to be honest with you. Did you have Jonathan on that one? Maybe Jonathan isn't as much.
No, it's taken 2. I've already, unless I misspell my name, that's the only way I can do it. I'm not going to do that. So I'll put it in the here. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Toss it up. Yeah. Thanks for coming in with us. Yes, absolutely. No doubt. Benji saying that Sark will win a CFP title soon. As a coordinator, possibly. Yeah, I can see that. Then maybe they hire him at Oklahoma after they fire him. You know? Never know. Never know. Whole 7-win Sark, you know, it happens. It is what it is. James Madison, 52 points at halftime. That's insanity, dude. They're just rolling them up.
52. They had to go easy on North Carolina in the second half. But in our second string, guys, James Madison puts in the second string.
So how much? That was a home game for Carolina too, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
They paid him $1 million to come play the game, probably.
Hey, let's not get into that shit, okay?
Yeah, I was fixing to bring up Notre Dame right after that. I was just going to give my little shot at you.
You know? We paid 1.4 for them to come in and kick our ass.
Yeah, and you didn't do you any favors.
No. Well, Notre Dame didn't do themselves any favors.
Well, yeah, there we go.
Although we got, we're like Dr.
Do we still like Riley Leonard though? I mean, are you still?
Here's my thought on that. Okay, and you heard my rant earlier. Everybody wants a guy doesn't play the way they want him to, hell, let's go to the next guy. But at the end of the day, Riley's not throwing the ball real well.
No.
Now he's running the hell out of the ball. He's got, I think, 5 touchdowns, and he's two games of over 130 yards rushing, and I mean he runs the ball super well. And but our fans are pissed off because he can't throw the ball the way we want him to throw the ball. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier in my rant, a touchdown is a touchdown. It doesn't make a damn if you throw it or you run it. It's a touchdown. So, am I super excited about his throwing? What he has shown to this point? No, I'm not. But here's the thing, guys. The difference in Leonard Riley and a freshman, or he's done it before already. Okay. So it's not the first time for him. So I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll get there. I think he'll improve. Now, does everybody in every Notre Dame fan wants us to be a damn air raid football team? We're not that. Okay. We for years we've been.
And should it be with that offensive line and those running backs, by the way?
Well, we're suspecting the offensive line, guys. We've lost 3 starters to injury. Okay, 3 offensive linemen. Guys, we've had a ton of injuries, and I don't know the people that don't really are Notre Dame fans pay attention to that stuff, but we've lost about 6 starters already to year-ending injuries. So it's been tough. But you know what? Next man up, and here we go, rock and roll. Now we got Louisville this weekend. They beat our ass last year, soundly last year. They're 3-0 coming into this game. I think Jeff Brom does an incredible job of coaching. And so I think it's going to be a good ball game for us. I truly believe that we'll beat Louisville.
They're not going to sneak up on you. That's
even
right?
no, even running the ball. But hell, we've played 2 MAC teams, and one beats us, and then the other one we play around for a half, and then we finally step it up and win by, I think, 25. But at the end of the day, Notre Dame right now is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We don't know which one's going to show up. And so we're not getting the consistency that we need offensively. Our special teams last weekend looked like Ned and the first reader. We were friggin' horrible in special teams.
What does that mean? Ned and the first reader. What the fuck is that?
Well, that just shows my age, brother. It goes way, way back.
Hey, I don't even remember that. So yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
I have no clue what that means.
I'm an old fart, brother. You need to look it up. You need to look that one up. Ned and the first reader.
How many folks is somebody in the comments knows the answer to that? What the freaking crap does that mean?
Yeah, that's wild. And to answer the Auburn question, with the hate being called, there's a couple I can give you. One of them would be they go to a cow college, call him a Barner, right? Because of that. Yeah. Harvey Updike for president. That would be one. That's one I used to use all the time.
There you go.
That's great.
Toomer's Lemonade's another one. There's I cut deep with Auburn fans sometimes. So,
Toomer's Lemonade. So you mean like pissing on the trees or whatever?
So there's an old story about the people that used to make lemonade at Toomer's trees and stuff like that. It's some inside crap that happened there. So there's literally a whole story on it. Just like the Eric Ramsey guy. I won't get into that. That's a whole story. But yeah, the easy ones are you go to a cow college. The other one's Harvey Updike for president. You'll piss him off all day long.
Yeah, Auburn, he just said, do not call us that.
So there's your answers.
Fucking awesome.
Well, here, I'm going to read this.
Films, I do see you. I don't give a shit what you're talking about anymore. Run away.
Hey, I'm going to read this to you, okay? So, looks like Ned in the first reader. It's a phrase used to scold a child who is looking sloppy or hasn't combed their hair. The phrase refers to a naive character named Ned from McGuffey's Reader, which was published in the early 1900s. So there you have it, boys and girls.
That's why.
Don't be Ned in the first reader, okay?
Auburn new to the Pac-12. Could they win that conference? Maybe. Well, maybe the new Pac-12.
Yeah, the new one.
Starting to fill up with some good ones. Yeah. We are going to be the first SEC school to lose to the OU Hawkeyes. Wow. You are trying to get booted now. Look at you. Look at
Yeah,
there.
I made him mad by saying those comments, so he deserves a little bit of leeway.
He's yeah, but this guy, listen, you guys do realize this. John is a Alabama guy. Take shots at Bama, back off of OU. All right.
Hell, take shots at Notre Dame. I love it. Because you know what? I don't give a shit.
See? Y'all got that one for free. Nobody even had to pay for it.
Nope.
There it is. Coach was born in 1887. Looking good for Father Time, Bloody Gun says. Bloody,
You
well
got
done.
it, baby.
Well played. Very well played. I like it. Jay, 19-year-old kid. Hawkins is a pretty mature dude. Take some figuring out. QPB. Listen, man, I would tell you, for you Tennessee fans, you ought to be really glad that Michael Hawkins wasn't playing the whole game because he moved them football. That's all I know. Wish Charlie Weiss was still around, mainly because we are still paying him. Look, they had some of their better seasons under Charlie Weiss. It did fall apart at some point, though, right? They kind of needed to get rid of his ass.
I believe Auburn's still paying Gus.
They are.
And
Harsin for sure, right? Harsin had only
Oh,
been
yeah,
there
for sure, Harsin.
Yeah.
I believe they're still paying Gus. I don't know. Do either one of you know about the baseball player that gets paid until like 2045, and this was like 20 years ago?
That would be Bobby Bonilla.
There we go.
More than 20 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
The worst
Bobby
contract
Bonilla
of all
gets $1
time.
million a year, basically it was a lifetime contract, but essentially says, yeah, you're going to get it for, I think it's until 45. If he's still alive, he'll be pretty old. But yeah,
it's something crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's a smart contract for him because at that time, I mean, it was before they completely exploded. You know, you're getting $200 million for a 10-year deal or something like that. It was huge. And he was not the best out of those players there. You know, that was when he played with Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh that he got that money.
And then I think, was it Ohtani that got the delayed contract where he gets like $1 million a year, but then on the back end of his contract, he gets like an enormous amount of money.
Yes, because he was smartly, you know what, he looked at the economy that's going on right now and the tax rate and was like, maybe I could defer this a little bit.
Yep.
You know, smart. It's actually a smart move.
Sean D's got a point. Florida's about to be paying Mullen, Napier, and the new coach. Yeah, you're right. Just like Auburn's going to be paying Gus, Brian Harsin, and Hugh Freeze.
Aren't they? Didn't they just get done paying the last guy before Mullen too? Who was the guy right before that? He used to coach at Colorado State.
McElwain. Jim McElwain. Yeah, he was the offense coordinator at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to Colorado State.
Killed it at Colorado State. He was killing it.
He did. He actually did really well at Colorado State.
And he wasn't really doing that badly at Florida either. They've had some weird hiring practices going on there at UF.
Fun fact, they won the SEC East his first year.
Yeah,
so did Dan Mullen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Go figure. Yeah, didn't Dan Mullen the year before he got fired, he'd won the cocktail party, right? He'd beaten Kirby.
I think
that's the last.
He did.
Fun fact, that's the last regular season loss that Georgia has had. That doesn't matter still, folks. By the way, that 40-something game win streak in the regular season, nobody gives a shit. Win 47 in a row no matter what, and then we'll talk. Hate that stupid thing. They're just making records up.
Yeah, it tends to happen. I think, man, I did want everybody.
Bobby
But,
Woodley
yeah,
won in July. That's it. Yep, I remember that. Mullen is in no hurry in leaving ESPN. Why would you
I'm in
be?
a hurry. I'm in a hurry for him leaving ESPN.
He's kind of a weird dude, right?
he's a
And apparently that may be why they fired him. That his wife's a little odd too. She gets a little handsy with the kids.
bro,
Players.
handsy. She was kissing players that were coming out of the tunnel on national television on the lips. I was like, oh, this is some weird stuff.
How is that helpful for you going out and getting ready for a game when some old lady just,
bro, like it wasn't like straight on like the way,
coach's
you know what I
wife.
mean?
That's
But
what I mean, like the coach's wife. That's weird.
yeah, that's definitely in the wheelhouse of very strange.
Don't know if OU Texas has a pure hate. The Iron Bowl. Oh, you just don't know. Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, both of those rivalries are to the core.
To the core. Fuck
Yeah,
Texas.
but in Auburn, you know that, bro. So
yeah, I mean,
as far as Alabama Auburn goes, but OU, I've been wanting to get to a Red River game. So football, I guess, is
you've got to do it. You've got to go to one. It's a lot of fun. T Boomer became
congratulations.
a member. Thank you, T Boomer, my man. Appreciate you. If you'd like to become a member, go to the join button. It's right next to the like button, and a lot of you have not hit the damn like button. So wipe your feet when you come in this house. We would appreciate it.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Give it to us.
Yeah, even if you do that, that's fine. So we'd appreciate it. We are still at, come on, fellas. We've had 800 viewers and 40 likes. That's 5%. Really? You're not having fun. Are you not entertained?
That's unacceptable.
Unacceptable behavior. What happened to Riley? More folks might have hit the like if Chicken did ban him. Chicken, are you banning everybody?
He's let loose.
He's rolling.
He's rogue. You wondered why I was hesitant to give him the power, as he calls it. Oh man, it's been real. Have a good one. Thank you for coming in, Fight On. We appreciate it.
See you, Fight On.
Haven't been timed out once. Oh, there you go. Chicken Z Paulson's probably catching it. Miss Mullen and Tina Fey's inspiration for Talladega Nights.
Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious. That's funny. Attaboy.
That was such a strange thing.
Weird, right? Yeah.
There's
and even Professor was talking about that from High Top. He was like, she's a little weird, man. She's touching players and stuff and kissing them.
Come to Florida. I'll kiss you.
Yeah.
That should be on a billboard.
That's a recruiting pitch for you, you know?
Oh, man.
Wild.
I like bloody guns. I like that. That's hilarious.
Chicken times me out. I'm cooking his ass with some barbecue sauce. My man. All right, guys. Let's see what other games we got. Almost done here. Let's see. Washington State, Boise. Man, nobody cares on that one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oklahoma State on the road at Kansas State, 20 versus 23. I'm going to say OSU gets lost number 2 in a row. I'm picking that one.
Who they're playing?
On the road
Kansas State.
Kansas State will be looking to bounce back after that awful defeat last week. But, I mean, I would say that the one thing I know is what we were talking about. Their offense is not good at Oklahoma State either, and they've got a quarterback that's been around for 7 years. What's your excuse for not being able to throw the ball at this point? Once you know that Ollie's all you got, you're screwed, right? He said, I'm free in the yard.
He's running around. Yeah, Colorado and UCF is going to be an interesting game.
That will be a fun one. Here's the other thing. Coach, I wanted to ask you, I needed to bring this up around you because do we think that Dave Aranda survives losing to CU? Because everybody's been talking about CU kind of bowing out at some point during this year. Now they've won a couple of games in a row. They're what? They're 3-1.
They're exactly where they were at last year.
exactly where they were
before they went on that losing streak.
Yeah, they didn't win again after that. Or no, they did. They
They
won
won one game.
One more
that.
game.
Yeah.
So UCF hasn't been wonderful on the road, though. They're really good at home. We know that. I like KJ Jefferson quite a bit. I think Gus Malzahn's offense is perfect for KJ Jefferson, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
What do you think happens
with Aranda?
Yes. Does he survive that loss? Because most people expect.
Well, hell, how has he survived this long? Is my question.
Mac Rhodes loves this dude for some reason, I guess.
I mean,
maybe his wife kisses him.
I'd have fired his ass. You know, his wife's kissing him instead of the players. But
Baylor talk.
But Jason, you know this, Jason. I said a year ago that ship was sinking, and it was sinking quickly. And
it dropped to the bottom of the fucking ocean last year, and they didn't fire him.
And that's what I'm telling you. You know what? I don't know what he's doing, what his wife's doing, what anybody's doing.
They're doing it good, whatever they're doing.
Whatever they're doing is working. But I would have fired his ass last weekend.
I think Ryan Lemon.
Now Ryan Lemon,
he's got a point.
Happy he's not throwing the Bryles recruitment parties. I'm not too sure that's the thing. I'm going to tell you, just so we understand this, those kind of recruiting parties were going on before Art Bryles. Well before Art Bryles. And
guys,
another thing.
Everybody talks shit about Art Bryles. Them some bitches hadn't won at Baylor in a long, long time before Art Bryles got there. Art Bryles is a hell of a football coach.
There's a lot of shit going on, though, there with that whole deal. You shouldn't just – this idea – I don't think Art handled that well. I don't think Art handled that well. I think he handled it poorly. Okay. But the truth is that was not an Art Bryles problem. That shit was going on at Baylor for a long ass time before that. You remember the Dave Bliss shit that happened with his basketball players and that got killed? Right. Wild shit goes on at Baylor. Let's not get it twisted and act like they're a bunch of great people. Now, the difference with Dave Aranda not throwing those kind of parties might be why they're sucky right now.
Well, I tell you what, even if he did throw a party, Dave Aranda is like talking to this friggin' wall in front of me.
Well, it's weird. It's just a weird conversation, right?
Hey,
I like
Big 12 Media Days.
Nice man, but I have a lot of respect for the man himself. Because I think he's a really good coach as far as the defensive guy is concerned. He was really good at LSU. He's been really good everywhere.
I would agree with that.
But the guy, he was people that have pretty decent education. I'm not talking about me and coach, but at Big 12 Media Days, we're sitting there looking at him going, what does that mean? I can't imagine an 18-year-old understanding what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, and that's my point. How can the players relate to this dude? I don't know.
It's like damn
weird is one thing as a position coach or like a coordinator, he's kind of kooky, but he starts yelling and Farmer Frannon or whatever, and get out there and run or whatever. Yeah. That's one thing for
or their own.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's one thing if you're the defensive coach, but it's wild, bro. Wild stuff. Yeah. Dave Bliss, that thing was a complete disaster. And being from living in New Mexico for as long as I have, growing up here and stuff, we remember that because Dave Bliss was at UNM for a long time. And then when he went to Baylor and all that stuff the kid that got killed, Patrick Denny, he had played at UNM as well.
Yeah.
And so he took him, and then the murder happens, and they were trying to basically get all the players to say that he was dealing drugs and doing a bunch of illegal stuff, and he wasn't. So that it was throwing the player under the bus for it. It was so wild shit, man. What a piece of shit that guy.
You're probably right, chicken, on that one. Like I said, there ain't no women going to no Diddy parties.
That's true. Yeah. If they are, they're downstairs while Diddy and company are upstairs, doing their thing.
Or they're women with swapped out downstairs.
Let's not get into Diddy.
But anyways,
yuck. What a conversation. What are we doing?
We are way off track at this point.
Shit.
He's got Gary Gibbs personality. Sooner going out some barbs too, man. That's funny. Some good stuff. Gary Gibbs personality. Look, and I'll tell you again, I think that I like Dave Aranda. I think that he's I think if you're hanging, there's a lot of the guys that we respect in this business, to the guys from 365, Sikkim 365, Smokey and those dudes, they like him. They all really like the guy. And they say he's interesting to hang around with and talk to a little bit. The problem is,
I bet
it's tough though with players. I think that, and to me, I mean, I'm one of those guys that likes history, deep history, but he got to talking about that at Big 12 Media Days, and it was about some like really obscure shit that you would have to be reading some wacky books to know. You know what I mean? To hear about. And he was talking about it like it was, mainstream and you should understand what he's talking about. And nobody did. We're all looking at him like, what the hell does that mean? It was wild.
All I can think about is, damn, I need to go have a few shots to listen to any more of this shit.
Coach looked at me and goes, I don't know what the fuck that was. And I looked back at him. I was like, I almost fell asleep. I don't know what it was either. Yeah. Dave Bliss left to go. Yes, he was at OU before Tubbs, and then went to SMU. Yeah, that was back in the days when they were cooking that cash pretty good out there at SMU.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes getting ejected from the game, by the way, to SMU.
Yeah, let's talk about that one, man. That's been a fucking wild game the last few years, right? You had Coach Kill getting the shit beat out of him by his own team. That was Gary Patterson's last year there at TCU.
Dude.
Been a lot of fights and shit. And then, the Iron Skillet game, they bring out the Iron Skillets and beat the shit out of each other with them. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Wild. So what happened in that? I didn't get to see it. I heard that he got ejected. What happened?
I don't know exactly what happened. I just saw he got ejected. And he was like cussing everybody out when he was walking off. I was like, okay.
Cow. Well, they did get blown out.
Yeah,
blown out
by SMU.
Yeah. And then he had actually won. So in the series, he had won, I think, 5 in a row himself because he won 2 or 3 of them at SMU. Let's see. So Sonny getting tossed. Coach, you got to get a hold of Sonny.
Yeah.
Sonny getting
probably give him a little shit.
Sonny's good dude, though. I like Sonny, man.
Hey, I didn't bring up that stuff. You guys, no, that was Lemon. Don't be involving me in that. I talked about it.
Right under the bus. Right under the bus, you go.
I talked about it, but I didn't bring it up.
Right under the bus, bro. TCU coach Sonny Dykes ejected after 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties against SMU, his former team. It was right at the start of the second half. They got beat 66-42. That's bad. They were already getting beat by 20.
Yeah.
So it didn't get a whole lot worse. That they're 2-2 on the year. They were coming in one of the kind of dark horse favorites in the Big 12 after going a couple of years ago. He recruits pretty well. It almost feels like he may be losing grip there, Coach. Almost feels like he might be losing his grip there.
Everybody in the Big 12 is a dark horse.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. I mean, hell, you could actually still win it from 2-2.
That's what I'm saying. Is there a favorite right now in the Big 12? Like
Utah. At this point, it'd be Utah.
Utah. Yeah, I guess you're right. It would be Utah.
Because even with Cam Ward, even without Cam Ward, they went into Stillwater and won last weekend.
Yeah.
Their defense is very good. Cam doesn't necessarily have to come back. Zach looks pretty good. What is this talking about? Roll Tide? No. And then he says, what? Jonathan brought up Diddy, R. Kelly, Epstein, freaky stuff, and I'm like a Christian boy who would never. Yeah, okay. You're hilarious. That's just where Bama minds will take you, chicken. You're a saint. Okay, buddy. SMU TCU is not scheduled past next year. I saw that. So is that
probably
maybe they don't need to schedule it for a while, man. they get a little too crazy there in Dallas and Fort
I mean,
Worth. It's a little nuts.
Alabama and Auburn didn't play for like 46 years in a row.
That's a long time. That's a
Yeah,
long
people
time.
were getting killed outside the stadiums. There's not a lot in Alabama, so you take some things personal.
Well, I mean, it's personal. I mean,
Like
sit
the
after
trees.
the trees. Tumor's Corner. I mean, I couldn't believe that dude actually called in to Paul Feinbaum and like told on himself.
I can't, dude. That was, I talked to him on the phone before.
Wow. How'd that happen? He just died recently, didn't he?
He died a couple of years ago. Yeah, unfortunately. I guess look, we're all human, right? We all do stupid stuff.
Well, yeah,
But,
yeah. I mean, that's taking the rivalry to a level that most people don't get to.
I look, I would never do something crazy like that. And yeah, he was supposed to get prison time. I don't know if he actually served prison. I know he had an $800,000 fine. He was supposed to pay back
$800,000.
Yeah, for two trees that came from Africa or some I don't know, something like that. They weren't like here in North America. Yeah, it was a wild situation. Yeah, I do remember when he called in. I think it was the Paul Feinbaum show or somewhere like that.
It was Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah, talking about how poison their damn trees, and then he's like, "Roll damn tide," and I was like, "Nope, that's you, dog." Like,
that's you.
All because they put a jersey.
Trees, I'm like, what's so fucking special about them? They just have toilet paper on them most of the time, so who cares?
All I know is
I'm asking before anybody freaks the hell out. I just want to know.
Yeah, they put a jersey, a Cam Newton jersey on Paul Bear Bryant's statue, and that was his response. Was to kill two 10 million old.
Important.
Do what?
Why are the trees so?
Oh, I don't know. There's something about they were brought over like on the Mayflower. Something like that. I don't know. There was something stupid behind it. In all honesty, I know they were super old and they were not for this environment, or I don't know. But
I think the hate's pretty similar in that one. Just like I would say that with the Red River, I think they're pretty damn similar. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that everybody would tell you the game if you're looking at the numbers. As far as there's a lot of people that live in the Midwest, though. Yeah, I don't know. I myself, I prefer. Yeah, I don't know. Auburn usually doesn't matter lately. It's the only reason I don't really care about the Iron Bowl. They just don't. And I mean, to me, and that's me as an Oklahoma fan, by the way. So I don't have to like agree. I would say that between those games, I'm more interested in watching the game. But to be honest with you, though, I'm if I had to choose between any of them, it's the Red River game for me.
Yeah, naturally it should be just like the Iron Bowl for me. Like,
what?
Yeah, they changed it. It's no longer a noon start.
Oh, because of why? Oh,
you didn't know they? Yeah, they changed it. Yeah,
they changed it to 2:30. There'll never be a night game though,
and that's just because of the fair, right? Or
correct.
No?
Yeah, it's kind of a bad neighborhood, so you don't really.
Oh, is it?
Don't want to be there after dark.
Oh, wow, it's like that.
Yeah.
So I went and watched.
Especially since they just made a new law, or they are enforcing a new law about not being able to open carry or conceal carry on fairgrounds property. So
yeah,
you certainly want to. And that's Texas doing that, by the way,
which is wild,
kind of wild, yeah. So
hey, boys,
you don't want to be there that late. Time to go, Coach.
I'm gonna exit.
I gotta go too. For too long.
Same.
So. Guys, well then let everybody know. Coach, we appreciate you as always coming in. We've if you get time here in the next couple of days, hit me in the morning and maybe come on the show in the morning time.
Okay. I'll give you a holler. Okay.
Sounds good.
Later, guys. Thanks, John.
Have fun, Coach.
See you,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Good luck this weekend.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Be a fun game, man. So everybody give love to the coach on his way out. We appreciate him as always. John, I wanted to tell you, and Coach, I'm going to send this to you too. I'll get a hold of him though. We've got our poll, our Hall of Fame media poll.
I need to fill that out. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I did.
No,
I was telling the dog to be quiet. He's trying to let everybody know that he's here, as always. But yeah, we've got our top 25 poll, HOF media poll. Wanted to have it in by tonight. I'll send it to a couple of you guys. But if you become a member of the program, as we saw earlier from our boy T Boomer, you can become a voter in the HOF Top 25. We appreciate that. I'm still looking at that. I was looking at the starred stuff, but that was funny. So yeah, become a member. It's as low as $2.99 a month to be able to get into our Discord, do some voting, some stuff like that. So jump on there and check all that stuff out. I'll send that to you, John. Make sure to tell everybody one more time how to find you before we get out of here.
Just Bama Talk on YouTube, and then at Bama Nation John on X or Twitter. There we go.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in, my friend.
Oh yeah.
I will. Hey,
invite.
if you want to come in one of the morning shows, we got Wednesday coming up, or well, yeah, we've got the Wednesday show tomorrow.
What time do you start them?
The Friday show. It's 10:30 Eastern time.
9:30 for me.
9:30 for you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I drop off the kids and I get back around 9:15. So I may be able to jump on tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll shoot you over a link for that. We'll talk a little bit about some of that stuff. But hey, man, it'll be a lot of fun this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that. I want to talk a little bit more about the game itself, what you're expecting there, and obviously, do we think that Auburn is that close to getting rid of you?
No, I don't. It's only because of the money. It's going to be a money issue. Nobody wants to pay a previous coach plus this coach plus the next coach they got to bring in. I just don't think it's worth it. Like,
feels like the AD's got to go then too, right? Because wow,
yeah, like it would be more than him. It would be a massive meltdown, and Auburn can't afford to lose this entire class because they actually have a pretty good recruiting class. So you'd be losing a lot more than just him. You'd be losing the recruits probably with it and a lot more. So yeah, I don't think they'll get rid of him. Not this year, at least. Now, if this keeps up, if he just keeps blasting players or whatever it may be, I don't know, then maybe, but
it's a bad look. It's a bad look by Hugh. Got to tell you. Doesn't
not
look
good. And then Bo Wallace calls you out. Like, so yeah, previous players and coaches are talking about you. He said, does the top moderator get a prize?
Who might
Chicken 1515 at the bottom.
Oh, I know who it was. I know who said it. I was like, who might that be? The top moderator. Just because you throw people out of here all the time doesn't necessarily make you the best one. Chicken. Bagman? No, sir. No, sir.
He's pushing that boundary.
He's pushing that boundary. Yes. All right.
But yeah, I appreciate the invite. Appreciate everybody in the comment section. All the questions
man.
And all that good stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I gotta get out of here. It's 10:08.
Yeah, it's time, man. Appreciate you coming in. We will see you in the morning. I'll shoot you over that link in case you want to pop on. Appreciate you coming on. See you on the next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, bud. Bama Talk with Jonathan Lewis. Make sure you guys get over there, become a subscriber to his channel. He's doing great things over there. He does talk a lot of Alabama football, but he talks kind of like our channel. We talk a lot of everything. So we will be talking in the morning, for at least for the first little while, for sure. We will get into talking a little bit about the Auburn game coming up this weekend for Oklahoma. Obviously, the quarterback switch. You've got the move to having Jacoby Johnson move to wide receiver, which is obviously in response to some of these pretty big the expectation obviously being that he's probably going to get on the field a little bit because you have so many of these bad injuries. And the one thing I would say about Jacoby is he's a great athlete and he's been in the system as far as, covering these receivers on a day-to-day basis. Plus he's been in the weight room for now. This is his second year. So you're looking for some kind of experience there. He's just a good athlete too. But I got to tell you, I'd really like to see a little more Ivan Carrion. We're talking that you need that big target. And if we know that Nick is not looking like he's going to be back anytime real soon, I don't know if Andrew Anthony's going to be back anytime soon. So that means that any kind of experience that you have is probably not going to be back unless you're able to unless somehow miraculously you get our boy. Now, why am I forgetting his damn name? Oh, yeah, Farouk. Jalil Farouk comes back. You know, they were talking 6 to 8 weeks. It almost feels like he's probably not going to make it back either. I think a lot of things are going to depend, but you got to start. Listen, they don't have a lot of big bodies out there. JJ Hester hasn't really exactly been great when he's been in the game. Give him a shot. Even if he's not a great practice player, I want to find out if he's good in games. Sometimes they're better when the lights are on. You never know. Do you think he'll have better chemistry with Carrion than J.A. did? Yeah, I didn't know until just recently. I didn't hear that until just recently that you had maybe a little bit of a chemistry thing that wasn't happening with some of the younger guys in J.A. Obviously, the younger guys weren't getting a ton of time with him. You know, he was, as the starter, he was going to be in there with the guys they were expecting to be their starters and their guys that were going to get a lot of play time. So probably not a lot of time between them throwing balls around. I would suspect that, yeah, probably. You saw that with Jaquez last week. A couple big catches. He looked like he definitely was feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good out there. So it looked really good, man. So what are we talking about? They paint the field for Auburn, I bet. And they might cut the grass perfectly. You know, maybe we'll talk about that in the morning. I'm going to get it. I'm kind of sick of Tennessee fans at this point. I got to tell you. All this talk about the field and everything else. Quit bitching. You won the game. Shut up and go away. Run along. Who are they playing this week? Are they playing anybody this week? Are they off this week? Is that what's going on there? I didn't see them on the schedule. Yeah, I don't see them. I don't think so. Nope. So Virginia Tech, Miami be the other one. Baylor looks like they could be in for it with BYU coming to town. Arkansas at Aggie. That could be a good game. Could be a crap game, but it could be a good game. Arizona at Utah. I think a little luster's been knocked off of that game. Arizona haven't been playing very good. We'll see. We will see. Miss Jason Ferries. Yeah, listen, I really hope so. But I mean, we need to find out at least. Put him in the game and let's see. Ivan Carrion's a big body. 6'6". He can move. He can go up and get some of those 50-50 balls. Got to jumpstart this thing a little bit. I like the way Jaquez looks, but you got to have some big bodies for this offense. But all right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. Again, it'll be at 8:15. 10:15 in the morning. Rise and Shine College Football right here on Hall of Fame College Football. Thanks a lot for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you in the morning.